Chapter 168. There's nothing to explain. Brother Anand saw that I'm pitiful that no girls like me, so he decided to introduce his sister to me. Young quickly put the jade pendant back on his neck. With the lucky jade pendant back, Yu Yang's courage grew. At least he still had Anand in his hands, so he wasn't afraid of not having a wife. As for the three girls in front of him, he had no choice but to fall for them. When he became stronger in the future, if he still couldn't get them, he would just force himself on them. As long as he could push them down, he wouldn't be afraid of them flying out of his palm. It wouldn't be too late to coax them after he made them his women. Picking up girls was a process of controlling both body and mind. It was best to control his heart first, then control his body. If that didn't work, he could do the opposite. Control his body first, then slowly control his heart. Of course, the latter method had to be built on a strong foundation. Otherwise, if he was too weak and tried to force himself on them, it would be a tragedy. It was very likely that the other party would cut off his little dick. Yu Yang felt that they had joined forces to deal with him. On the surface, this alliance seemed unbreakable, but no matter how strong it was, it couldn't compare to his own internal division. As long as he continued to sow dissension, their sisterly alliance would collapse sooner or later. As long as they were alone, it would be easy for him to take advantage of them. So Yu Yang already has an engagement. Congratulations! City Mistress Fallen Flower smiled as she reached out her hand and touched Yu Yang's hair. On the surface, it looked like a city mistress caring for her subordinate, but her jealousy could be carried by the wind for 5 kilometers. Maybe she hadn't fallen in love with this silly and daring little thief, but any woman who saw an outstanding man she was familiar with being booked by another woman would inevitably feel a little jealous. This explanation is very good. It perfectly explains the great and pure friendship between you and Brother Anand. I think I can believe that you guys are pure. The mysterious beauty closed the book in her hand and disappeared with the wind in front of Yu Yang. I was just passing by. Princess Sisai didn't know how to teleport, but she had a teleportation scroll. Hey, actually, Yu Yang hurriedly called out to her. Actually, what you want to say is that I'm a silly girl who likes to stare at people with rouge tiger eyes, right? You don't have to repeat it. I heard it just now. Princess Sisai raised her leg and kicked Yu Yang's butt, sending him flying. Then, she angrily entered the portal and left. It's fine. Princess Sisai is an impatient person. Her temper flares up quickly, but it subsides even faster. Luohua City Mistress giggled as she pulled Yu Yang up. She reached out her hands and patted his clothes. Her face was full of smiles as she said, "Moreover, you won't lose out. Whoever kicked you will compensate you with a wife. Princess Sisai kicked you just now, so she probably won't be able to escape. Congratulations, Yu Yang, you'll get Tigress later." It's Princess Sisai. I'm gonna faint. Yu Yang realized that the three women who said they didn't know each other on the surface were sharing information. No matter what he said, the three women knew. What was their relationship? Or maybe they formed a sisterly alliance to deal with him, sharing information? He had never heard them mention each other before. From a Night Emperor's words, he could deduce that Luo Hua City Mistress was someone from the Tian Luo Kingdom, while Princess Qian Qian was the princess of the Xia Kingdom. As for the remaining mysterious masked beauty who liked to read while stalking him, who was she? Could she be the princess of Zijin? Impossible. Zijin Kingdom was famous for its strong men. Beauties were almost extinct in Zijin Kingdom. Yu Yang actually suspected that this mysterious beauty was Xue Tanlang's sister, the Miss Xue from the pitiful guy's marriage. But thinking about it, Miss Xue from the Xue family must have hated the pitiful guy to the bone. Towards an imposter like him, she should have beaten him up. Why would she risk her life to save him? Especially the Marquis of Zijin, who was so strong that it made people feel despair. Before she died, she even planned to use her last breath to teleport him away. Could this kind of girl who risked her life for him really be the Miss Xue who hated him to the bone? Of course, Yu Yang couldn't be sure, but he was even more curious. Hey, although they have left, I'm still here. If you think you should chase after them, then hurry up and do it. City Lord Fallen Flowers smiled amiably on the surface, as if she didn't care at all. However, Yu Yang was sure that if he really chased after them, he would probably never see her again. Only an idiot would abandon the girl in front of him to chase after another one. Yu Yang jumped up and held City Lord Fallen Flowers' small hands tightly, pretending to be extremely loyal. Reporting to City Lord, I have agreed to your employment. I will be your personal guard captain and protect you 24/7. Furthermore, I can work overtime at night for free. When he said this, City Lord Fallen Flowers was so happy that she trembled. Finally, she looked at Yu Yang with a smile. I dare say that you are the most thick-skinned person in the world. Then she asked with a smile, can you tell me, how many girls have you coaxed? 10 or 100? Yu Yang stood up straight and pretended to be serious. Reporting to City Lord, 100 is my life's dream. Your personal guard captain's battle record is currently 0. End of report. Please instruct me. Ha ha ha. City Lord Fallen Flowers put her small hands on Yu Yang's shoulders, laughing so hard that she almost collapsed into his embrace. The fragrant and delicate body was right in front of him, the fragrance of a virgin, refreshing his heart. If one were to say that City Lord Fallen Flowers was the sexiest, it would be when she laughed out loud. Her laughter was not as indecent as other women's. On the contrary, it was natural, energetic, and frank, making people feel that she was happy from the bottom of her heart. Her laughter was not concealed, nor was it fake. It was real and magnanimous, with a kind of delicateness that others did not have. It was extremely beautiful. Yu Yang really wanted to hug this City Lord Fallen Flowers who loved to laugh, hug her tightly, fiercely kiss her cherry lips, and suck the sweetness and happiness in her mouth. His hand moved slightly but stopped in the end. Now is not the time yet. There would be a day when she would take the initiative to hug him and press her cherry lips on his, entangling with him endlessly. As long as he could make her fall in love with him completely, this little girl, Fallen Flowers, he must not let her slip away from his palm. He must chase her, and he must make her fall in love with him. Well, I've decided to hire you as a temporary personal guard captain. The probation period is 1 month. After the probation period, if the results are not good, then I'll dismiss you. City Lord Fallen Flowers finally stopped laughing and pretended to be serious. She said to Yu Yang, my personal guard captain, I'm tired of walking. This is the wilderness, and there are no signs of human habitation for dozens of miles. Do you have any good ideas now? The good idea is, Yu Yang put City Lord Fallen Flowers on his back, held her legs with both hands, lifted her small fragrant buttocks up, and then strode away. City Lord Fallen Flowers felt that this kid used a bit too much force when he separated her legs, and when he lifted her buttocks on his back, the friction was uncomfortable. Her white, jade-like face suddenly blushed, and she felt a burst of heat rising from the friction. She bit him lightly and was about to struggle down. However, she felt that being carried by him like this gave her an indescribable sense of comfort and satisfaction. She simply lay on his back carefully, and at first her chest did not touch his back, and her body was half suspended. After a long time, she felt that it was very tiring to do this all the time. Her arms kept changing their movements, trying to find the most comfortable position. Finally, she slowly hugged his neck and slowly lightened her body. Her whole body was stuck to his back, and her whole body was naturally relaxed, allowing him to carry her forward. City Lord Fallen Flowers found that this position was actually not as uncomfortable as she had imagined. Instead, it gave her a special sense of security. She remembered that as early as in the space pavilion on the flying peak, she had let him carry her like this. Now that she remembered it, it felt very warm. Although this kid was a bit of a playboy, he was really bad, unlike those hypocrites who had a fake face that made people feel disgusted. Thinking back to all the things she had experienced with him, and the scene just now, City Lord Fallen Flowers couldn't help but laugh secretly. When Yu Yang looked back curiously, City Lord Fallen Flowers asked a question that she had never thought of before. When you carried me to escape from the Sky Pavilion, did you ever touch me secretly? Yu Yang was shocked and his wolf claws uncontrollably pressed on City Lord Fallen Flowers' fragrant buttocks. However, he hurriedly explained, "I've never tried to touch you secretly like this. I've never even thought about it." "Then what are you doing?" City Lord Fallen Flowers was sweating profusely. How many times had this kid touched her? His movements seemed to be very familiar. "I lost control just now. I really lost control." Yu Yang was also sweating profusely. Why were his hands so disobedient? How much longer do you want to lose control? City Lord Fallen Flowers felt that if this kid continued to rub her, she would become a soft dough man. "If you don't mind, I want to lose control for a while more." Yu Yang couldn't bear to let go. That kind of wonderful feeling, he wouldn't let go even if he killed himself. Especially when he heard the beauty's soft breathing in his ear, listening to her heartbeat. That kind of flirtatious feeling simply made his wolf blood boil. If he carried her like this all the way down, he would rather walk for the rest of his life than let go. "Annoying. You're too presumptuous. Your performance is not up to standard." City Lord Fallen Flowers' body slightly twisted a few times to show her protest, but Yu Yang completely took it as encouragement. "If I don't perform well, deduct my salary. I will perform better and better." Yu Yang felt that he was about to be burned by the fire of passion. He turned back and wanted to kiss City Lord Fallen Flowers, constantly searching for fragrant lips that smelled like orchids. City Lord Fallen Flowers dodged at first, not letting him kiss her. But as Yu Yang's naughty hands continued to move more forcefully and stubbornly, he had to kiss her no matter what. She slowly raised her head. She slowly closed her beautiful eyes that were filled with wine ripples, her hot cherry lips slightly trembling. She gently moved closer, her lips like a blooming flower. Kiss her. Even if the heavens fell and the earth split, he still had to kiss the beauty. Just as Yu Yang was about to kiss her fiercely, a breeze suddenly blew past him. He and City Lord Fallen Flowers were both shocked. They raised their heads at the same time and searched their surroundings, thinking that the mysterious beauty had come. After a long time, they didn't find anyone, but they were almost scared to death in their hearts. When Yu Yang wanted to kiss her again, City Lord Fallen Flowers bit his earlobe lightly, then laughed out loud. "Little rascal, you wish." The slight pain in his earlobe strongly stimulated Yu Yang. His wolf blood was boiling. He really wanted to push her down, but he was sure that if he turned into a wolf, not only would City Lord Fallen Flowers not be pushed down, he would also be watched by a hidden female thief. Maybe that royal swordswoman who left angrily would also come and join in the fun. Forget it. Doing bad things in the day would easily expose him. Let's wait until nighttime. He would be able to take down Fallen Flowers sooner or later, but he shouldn't be too hasty. Rice must be eaten one bite at a time. Tofu must also be eaten one bite at a time. Just as Yu Yang was planning on how to attack City Lord Fallen Flowers at night, a teleportation door suddenly opened behind him. Princess Sisai waved her giant sword and rushed out with a rumbling sound. Yu Yang was shocked. What happened? Could it be that the mysterious beauty told her about him molesting City Lord Fallen Flowers? This tigress caught him in the act, and now she wanted to kill him? Who knew that Princess Sisai's delicate shout made Yu Yang's heart skip a beat because Princess Sisai shouted, "Run." Chapter 169. What's going on? When City Lord Fallen Flowers saw that it was Princess Sisai, her jade face blushed. She hurriedly came down from behind Yu Yang. When she saw Princess Sisai's anxious expression, she was shocked and hurriedly asked for the reason. Above the ruins of Hope Town, there are 2 Earth Demon-level fallen warriors preparing to ambush us. Let's go. Princess Sisai hurriedly rushed over. In less than a second, she took out a silver axis gold pattern teleportation scroll and opened a large team teleportation door. She then hurriedly pulled Yu Yang and City Lord Fallen Flowers, wanting to bring them away from this dangerous situation. At the moment when they were about to enter the teleportation door, Yu Yang's hand moved. The crescent blade in his left hand slashed towards the teleportation door with a soaring purple flame, while the gold-ranked dragon slaying dagger in his right hand slowly and unstoppably stabbed into Princess Sisai's back. The teleportation door shattered with a loud bang. After Yu Yang comprehended the Yang ability to control fire, the power of the purple flame increased by more than 10 times. The teleportation door that was previously difficult to destroy now disappeared in Yu Yang's hands with just one slash. At the same time, Princess Sisai's back was stabbed by the dagger. The dragon-slaying dagger pierced through her back and came out through her chest. Not only Princess Sisai, even City Lord Fallen Flowers was stunned. Why did Yu Yang want to kill Princess Sisai? Just because Princess Sisai kicked him before, he wanted to take revenge and kill her? Princess Sisai screamed and fell to the ground. She painfully clutched her chest that was spewing blood. Her eyes were full of confusion, as if asking Yu Yang, why did he do this? What are you doing? Fallen Flowers was furious. If she kicked you, at most, you would have slapped her. If not, you could have taken off her clothes and spanked her. Why did you have to kill her? Humans weren't guardian beasts. Once they died, they couldn't be revived anymore. City Mistress Fallen Flowers knew that Yu Yang definitely had his reasons for doing this, but she still felt very angry. He killed Princess Sisai without saying a word. This was too ruthless. Actually, I can explain. Just give me some time. Yu Yang revealed a bright smile. He was proud of himself, and his lips were red and his teeth were white. Speak. City Lord Fallen Flowers suppressed her anger. She felt that if this brat couldn't tell her the reason, she would bite him to death. She's a fake Princess Sisai, Yu Yang said with certainty. It's fake. Luo Hua City Mistress was immediately suspicious. I'm not. Quick, save me. Princess Sisai painfully stretched out her bloody hand, struggling to beg City Lord Fallen Flowers to save her life. Do you know how many flaws you have? Too many. Moreover, ever since the incident with the real and fake Elder Tian Suo, I've been looking for clues. The same trick won't work in front of me. Yu Yang swaggered in front of the fake Princess Sisai and shrugged his shoulders. Although your appearance has become exactly the same as Princess Sisai, in front of me, you're like a flawed clown. You're exposed everywhere. Which part of me doesn't look like it? The fake Princess Sisai suddenly stood up and coughed softly. The bloody hole in her chest quickly shrunk, closed, and improved. However, the demon heart that Yu Yang had pierced through with the dragon-slaying dagger couldn't be recovered, causing her unbearable pain. Firstly, Princess Sisai has the 6 records inherent skill. Her Rouge Tiger Stare is very powerful, but I don't have that kind of feeling when I'm on your body. Secondly, Princess Sisai's body is storing a powerful and mysterious beast. I'm sorry, there's nothing in your body. Thirdly, Princess Sisai's running habit is not to hold her greatsword horizontally like you do, but to drag her greatsword backwards. Her attacks belong to the type that reaches first, slashes from behind, which is much faster and more powerful. Yu Yang smiled indifferently. Hearing this, the fake Princess Sisai was dumbfounded. So there were so many flaws. I also felt that it was a little strange, but I really didn't notice that the way she held her sword was wrong. City Mistress Fallen Flowers felt that Yu Yang was indeed very meticulous. Princess Sisai rarely runs with her sword in hand, because she prefers to keep her sword in its sheath for a surprise attack and a fatal strike. Yu Yang gave another example. Yes, that's right. City Mistress Fallen Flowers nodded in confirmation. Could it be that she encountered a battle before? The fake Princess Sisai didn't think that it was also a mistake for her to pull out her greatsword. Of course she can, but you don't know the changes after she pulls out her sword. Her sword sheath is on the side of her left shoulder. Once she pulls out her sword, the sword sheath will move extremely quickly to the right side, and with the help of her hands, she will swing her greatsword. Right now, your sword sheath is still on the left side, which doesn't conform to Princess Sisai's habit of pulling out her sword. You should know that if a habit is formed from a young age, it won't change under normal circumstances. Yu Yang sneered. The fake Princess Sisai really didn't know that the position of the sword sheath would change after the real Princess Sisai pulled out her sword. There's an important flaw. Princess Sisai's sword is a weapon, but you're sore because you couldn't find a similar greatsword to imitate. You used a war beast to transform it. Because it's a war beast, It has a close mental connection with you, and Princess Sisai's sword is only a weapon to increase its owner's combat power. After Yu Yang pointed, the fake Princess Sisai really turned the greatsword in her hand into a silver python. Are there any other flaws? The fake Princess Sisai seemed to be ready to make a move. Of course there are. City Mistress Fallen Flowers was dumbfounded when Yu Yang said this. It didn't even take half a minute from start to finish, and this brat actually found so many flaws? The fake Princess Sisai's patience had reached its limit. She stared at Yu Yang and sneered, "What other flaws did you see?" Yu Yang shrugged his shoulders and spread out his hands. His smile was like a gentle breeze brushing against a willow, giving people the urge to beat him up. You have a weakness that you will never be able to imitate Princess Qian. Hence, no matter how much you try to act like her, you will still be seen through immediately. The last and most fatal flaw is that you're not a virgin. You don't have the delicate fragrance of a virgin that Princess Qian has. Before you try to lie to me, can you please find out how good my nose is? City Mistress Fallen Flowers listened with great interest at first. She felt that this brat's performance was too cool. But in the end, when she heard that he could distinguish people by their body fragrance, she immediately gave him a small fist in embarrassment. The fake Princess Sisai's face was very bad. She darkened and snorted angrily. "Are you done? If you're done, then you can die." She waved her hand and something flew out. It was a small black ball that exploded beside Yu Yang and Luo Hua City Mistress' feet with a pa sound. Black light spread all around, forming a dark space. The fake Princess Sisai disappeared from her original position, leaving only Yu Yang and City Mistress Fallen Flowers. City Mistress Fallen Flowers was about to summon her grimoire when she suddenly realized that her spiritual energy had been cut off. She was shocked and screamed, "Pollution Ball! This is the Pollution Ball specially used by the Demon Abyss to destroy summoning." This pollution ball was originally dark green. How did it disguise itself like this? It's really cunning. A snake silently descended from the sky and sinisterly bit towards City Mistress Fallen Flowers' head. Yu Yang waved his blade, and it quickly turned into a giant sword. Clang! The two swords clashed and made a loud noise. At the same time, in the darkness, the fake Princess Sisai stretched out a hand with the spider poison ring and grabbed the back of City Mistress Fallen Flowers' neck. A shield quickly expanded on City Mistress Fallen Flowers' body, sending the fake Princess Sisai flying. City Mistress Fallen Flowers held her grimoire and smiled proudly. "You think I can't even deal with a pollution ball? This is just a small trick. You think you can assassinate us with just a pollution ball? I alone might not be enough. But the two Earth Demons know that the plan has failed and will rush here immediately. They only need a minute to get here. At that time, the two of you will die without a burial place. Do you know how they will kill you? With their methods. If they don't torture you for 10 days to half a month, you won't easily swallow your last breath. At that time, you won't be able to live or die. I want to see if you can still be proud and arrogant." The fake Princess Qian hid in the darkness, her sneer like that of an owl, appearing and disappearing from time to time. "Is that so? But I don't need a minute to end this battle. I only need 10 seconds. Yu Yang's figure flashed and pounced to the left. The gold-ranked dragon, slaying dagger, shot out in the opposite direction. With a PU sound, the proud fake Princess Sisai screamed and fell to the ground after being hit by the dagger. If it was a normal weapon, it would not be able to hurt the fake Princess Sisai, who had fused with the shape-shifting beast. However, the dragon-slaying dagger was an exception. This treasure would cause headaches even for the big shots, let alone the fake Princess Sisai. "I'm Princess Sisai. Do you really want to kill me?" Suddenly, the fake Princess Sisai, who had fallen to the ground with a dagger in her chest, shed tears and pleaded weakly. "I'm your lover. How can you bear to kill me? My heart hurts. In order to please another woman, in order to please her, you cruelly killed me. Nonsense, you're a fake. Why are you still pretending to be pitiful?" Yu Yang's heart was definitely made of iron. He stepped on the fake Princess Sisai's chest. "I'm your favorite fallen flowers. Do you think I'm beautiful?" The fake Princess Sisai suddenly flashed with a black light, and her body actually turned into the city mistress of fallen flowers. Moreover, her whole body was naked, without a single piece of clothing. The beauty of her body was clearly visible, making Yu Yang almost drool. At the same time, she also made all kinds of exaggerated seductive poses, making Yu Yang's blood boil. The city mistress of fallen flowers was furious. He actually dared to pretend to be her and do such obscene actions? Looking at Yu Yang, who was dancing with joy after being seduced, she was sweating profusely again, almost losing her strength. This move was really vicious. This move might be useless against other people, but against the big pervert Yu Yang, it was definitely effective. She originally wanted to remind this brat that the real one was behind her, and that her body was not like that at all. Only her face had changed. Suddenly, she saw Yu Yang stretch out his wolf claws, grabbing down excitedly, and fell to the ground with a thud. Damn it, this big pervert actually took it seriously? Didn't he think that she would lie on the ground naked and make those postures to seduce him? How could that be possible? He was really an idiot. Just when the city mistress of fallen flowers was about to send Yu Yang flying with an aurora light and blast the impostor into pieces, she was dumbfounded to see Yu Yang's claw deeply penetrate into the impostor's chest, forcibly pulling out the other demon heart in that slut's chest. His hand was covered in blood. His appearance was not at all like his previous frivolous and lecherous appearance. Instead, it was a little disdainful and mocking. His expression was extremely arrogant, but it was also extremely cool. The city mistress of fallen flowers immediately felt a burst of joy in her heart. It turned out that this brat did not fall for her trick at all, but beat her at her own game. Chapter 170. You? The fake fallen flowers city lord screamed. You're so cruel. You flatter me. Yu Yang casually threw the demon heart to the side. Gray Wolf came up to sniff it, but the always gluttonous wolf didn't eat it. Die with me. The impostor roared with a malevolent expression. Come in, she's going to self-destruct. City Lord Fallen Flowers realized something was wrong and hurriedly called for Yu Yang to come back. Yu Yang waved his hand, indicating that it was fine. He continued to look down at the fake woman. The woman's appearance gradually faded. A black light flashed, and the beauty of City Lord Fallen Flowers disappeared. What replaced it was an ugly woman with wrinkles all over her face. She was very old. Her skin was loose, her eyes were heavy, her neck was big like a lump, and her chest was extremely shriveled. Two things that looked like sacks were twisted and drooped on her dry chest with obvious ribs. It was obviously extremely disgusting. Her stomach, which was already swollen like a drum, quickly swelled up like a ball, faintly revealing strange black spots. Her two thighs quickly withered, turning into withered dry bones. Gray Wolf was scared and ran, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't run out of the dark space field. Seeing that Yu Yang didn't enter City Lord Fallen Flowers' shield, he didn't dare to hide alone, so he pitifully hid behind Yu Yang. His two big heads were on the ground, his front paws trying to protect his eyes, but he could only protect the left side of his head, not the right side, which made him extremely distressed. When the fake woman screamed and wanted to self-destruct with Yu Yang kicked Gray Wolf into City Lord Fallen Flowers' shield, and then he flashed in. Behind him, there was a loud bang. The sky was filled with dirty blood and flesh. On the shield, there were spots, but they were immediately bounced off by the shield, all falling to the ground. The dark space field disappeared without a trace, and the world returned to normal. Other than the dirty blood and flesh, it was as if nothing had happened. Yu Yang looked around and frowned. What's wrong? City Lord Fallen Flowers asked with some concern. What's wrong? There are no earth demons chasing after us at all. Yu Yang's tone seemed to be a little regretful as he sighed. You idiot, ha ha! City Lord Fallen Flowers burst into laughter when she heard this. She laughed inexplicably and punched Yu Yang's chest before saying, Silly boy, let me tell you, no one will immediately chase after us after their plan fails. They won't come. Think about it. If they had absolute confidence in killing us, why would they need to resort to tricks? Besides, it's hard to say if this devil slave was sent by the demonic palace. The demonic palace is arrogant and crazy enough, but they're definitely not a bunch of fools. Do you think that this shape-shifting monster wasn't sent by the demonic palace? Yang had already guessed this from his observation just now, but he didn't expect City Lord Fallen Flowers to be able to see it too. This kind of monster is called Devil Slave by normal people. It's not very strong. The strongest is only around the level of a level 5 Grandmaster. However, it's very crazy. It can abandon everything, even its own life, for its beliefs. Devil slaves are monsters cultivated by some kind of secret technique from the demon abyss. There are both males and females, and they're extremely loyal and not afraid of death. They're willing to die for their master at any time. Another thing is that they are good at disguising themselves. Although this kind of exquisite shape-shifting technique is rare, it still exists. This kind of devil slave isn't only available in the demonic palace. Many countries in the soaring dragon continent have them. City Lord Fallen Flowers' expression became serious. They usually don't reveal their identity, but their abilities are limited. For example, that devil slave just now had probably used her shape-shifting ability more than 10 times. Her body's essence is greatly damaged, and she's almost dead. That's why she chose to explode herself crazily, intending to kill us together. How did you guess that she wasn't sent by the demonic palace? Yu Yang nodded and asked again. Don't test me. City Lord Fallen Flowers glared at Yu Yang. She knew that this brat had actually seen through it, but he was just curious how she knew. She couldn't help but give him another punch. If you can't even tell this, how can you still be a city lord? If she was really from the demonic palace, she wouldn't have mentioned the 3 words demonic palace. Since she said it, it's very likely that she wanted to shift the blame to the demonic palace, especially after the plan failed. If she was really from the demonic palace, she should have married someone else. Then who would want to shift the blame to the demonic palace? Yu Yang could think of that, but he couldn't guess who would do such a thing. It's hard to say. I think it's... City Lord Fallen Flowers hesitantly stretched out her finger and wrote 2 words on Yu Yang's palm, shocking Yu Yang. Yu Yang's mouth moved, but he didn't ask why in the end. He just nodded his head silently. Seeing his pondering expression, Luo, Hua's city mistress, curiously asked him back, "How did you guess it? You silly brat." Yu Yang also grabbed her small hand, as if he wanted to write on her palm. However, City Lord Fallen Flowers was afraid of tickling, so she insisted on not letting him do it. Yu Yang's writing was fake. His real intention was to take advantage of the Latin American's hand. City Lord Fallen Flowers' small hand was soft and smooth. Once Yu Yang grabbed it, he couldn't bear to let go. When City Lord Fallen Flowers realized this brat's intentions, she couldn't break free even if she wanted to. In order to divert City Lord Fallen Flowers' attention, Yu Yang hurriedly told her about his observations. "I saw the same symbol on the black-winged Tan Wu Fong and the luminous demon Ding Zong. It seems like it's the symbol of the demonic palace." "Yes, that's the demonic inscription. Every corrupted warrior has one." City Lord Fallen Flowers' attention was successfully diverted by him. "However, I didn't see the same demonic inscription on the fake demon slave just now. At that time, I suspected that she wasn't from the demonic palace. There's another point. The people from the demonic palace, no matter if it was the black-winged Tan Wu Fong or the luminous demon Ding Zong or the other corrupted warriors, they all don't have demon hearts. This is the demon heart that only the demon generals in the demon abyss would have. However, the weirdest thing was that Hui Tai Lang originally liked demon hearts very much, but now he ignored them. It was obvious that this demon heart was also fake. It didn't have the power and energy of a real demon heart, so Hui Tai Lang didn't eat it at all. Thirdly, those who have 2 demon hearts are demon commanders. The demon commander Ma Li Ong from last time also had 2 demon hearts. His strength was not bad. However, the fake who also had 2 demon hearts was trash. The demon heart in her body was just a fake to make people think that she was strong, but in fact, she was trash. Therefore, I don't think that she's from the demonic palace. Furthermore, if the people from the demonic palace wanted to ambush us, They would have chosen this place to be more suitable than teleporting to another place. Yu Yang didn't let go of City Lord Fallen Flowers' small hand as he spoke out the speculation in his heart. The place that I wrote to you just now has been nurturing demon slaves for a long time. I don't understand why they would do that, but I can be sure that it's not a good thing. No matter if it's the demonic palace or the people from that place, we have to be more careful. All right, the danger has passed. Please let go of my hand. City Lord Fallen Flowers tried to pull her hand away, but Yu Yang didn't let go. Instead, he used his long arm to pull her back. He carried her on his back again. At first, she was still a little angry at his unreasonable actions. She stood with her legs together, refusing to let him carry her. However, when he pulled her legs with his wolf claws, she felt that his actions were extremely dangerous and indecent. If she were to tangle with him, she would be too ashamed to show her face, so she quickly relaxed and lay on his back. She lightly pounded his head with her small fists, expressing her anger and wanted to punish him. However, her strength couldn't even kill a mosquito. She pouted coquettishly and said, "Fail, this kind of personal guard captain is too bad." Yu Yang laughed slyly. "Deduct my salary then. I don't plan on taking it anyway. Ha ha ha." Luohua City Mistress felt that Yu Yang's scorching hot wolf hand was about to do something bad again. She hurriedly stretched out her hand and slapped it down. Hey, losing control once is enough. Are you trying to do something bad so brazenly? Got it. Next time I'll be sneaky, and do bad things. Yu Yang's reply made City Lord Fallen Flowers snicker nonstop. This brat really had a glib tongue. She really couldn't do anything to him. Seeing that his master was immersed in happiness, Hui Tai Lang also moved closer to City Lord Fallen Flowers' three-tailed snow fox, preparing to curry favor. He was learning from his master, who knew that the three-tailed snow fox's taste in choosing friends was extremely high. It completely ignored Hui Tai Lang, proudly raising its soft tail and taking small, graceful steps, following behind its master. It didn't even glance at Hui Tai Lang. This arrogant look made Hui Tai Lang salivate, his eyes shining. To pick up girls, one must pick up such an arrogant one. Hui Tai Lang hurriedly followed, walking side by side with the snow fox. He used his most proficient foreign language to strike up a conversation with the beauty. Ah woof, woof woof, woof woof woof. The three-tailed snow fox turned her head, indicating that she didn't understand this foreign language. So don't waste your saliva. Meow. Hui Tai Lang used his newly learned foreign language again. The three-tailed snow fox was still indifferent when she heard it. Hui Tai Lang's foreign language attack failed. The snow fox was a fox, not a cat or dog. It would be strange if she could understand the language of cats and dogs. Don't be noisy. Don't disturb me picking up girls. Yu Yang realized that his romantic two-person world had been destroyed by Hui Tai Lang's barking, and became furious. Seeing his master's anger, Hui Tai Lang was so scared that he quickly pretended to be an obedient child. In the end, after seeing his funny look, City Lord Fallen Flowers laughed out loud. Even the three-tailed snow fox seemed to be secretly laughing. 2 days later, at the foot of the Cloud Peak Lake in the Despair Abyss. Because it was inconvenient to climb the cliff, Yu Yang left Hui Tai Lang and the three-tailed snow fox at the foot of the mountain. He repeatedly told Hui Tai Lang to protect the three-tailed snow fox's safety, while he and City Lord Fallen Flowers climbed up the cliff. The Bloody Queen could fly thousands of meters up the cliff, but she couldn't bring City Lord Fallen Flowers or Yu Yang to the top of the cliff. There was a formless pressure on the cliff here. Even City Lord Fallen Flowers didn't understand the reason. In order to climb to the top of the cliff, the Bloody Queen, who could easily fly more than 10,000 meters high, had to stop at 500 meters below the 3,000-meter peak. She also needed to use her hands and feet to climb up, and couldn't fly straight up. If she left this Cloud Peak Lake, her flying ability would immediately return to normal. It was as if there was a space here with a formless restriction. City Lord Fallen Flowers was tired from climbing, so Yu Yang simply used a sling to tie her to his back. Since her body was very light, it wasn't strenuous for Yu Yang at all. He climbed to around 2,000 meters high and found the Bloody Queen waiting for him on a small platform. She pointed at the cloudy cliff, screaming nonstop. Yu Yong hurriedly climbed up to the small platform. When he looked up, he realized that there were some huge words above his head. However, he didn't recognize any of them. This is a summoning rune. This should be an ancient summoning rune formation. In God's ruins, there are these kinds of words everywhere. City Lord Fallen Flowers took out a silk handkerchief and wiped Yu Yang's sweat. She said softly, "Rest for a while. I'll record these summoning runes and see if I can decipher its mysteries in the future. Just a few words can seal the whole space." Yu Yang felt that the power of summoning was very terrifying. Furthermore, it wasn't limited to animals and plants. Even space, light, spirit, and soul were included in the summoning. There were even words and formations. The ordinary warriors in the soaring dragon continent had only grasped the surface of summoning. It said that these were left behind by human warriors in ancient times. The ancients were really too strong. We're only looking for their footprints. City Lord Fallen Flowers nodded her head affirmatively. This is also the wisdom left behind by the ancients. It's a pity that we have no one to inherit it. Just as Yang was about to speak, he suddenly felt his mind shake, as if something had broken out of his body. In City Lord Fallen Flowers' eyes, she saw an inconceivable miracle. A miracle was born right in front of her. Chapter 171. City Mistress Fallen Flowers saw a beam of colorful light flashing above Yu Yang's head, shooting straight towards the ancient rune circle. She couldn't see clearly what it was. Maybe it was just a ray of colorful light, or maybe it was the figure of a guardian beast. Just as City Mistress Fallen Flowers was about to ask Yu Yang, she found that his eyes were closed, and his body was slowly floating in the air. His breathing was gentle, as if he was sleeping. She didn't see where his summoning grimoire was, but she saw the summoning grimoire's protective shield rising up. Golden light continuously emerged, forming a light pillar that was tens of meters tall, pointing straight at the center of the giant rune circle on the cliff. At this moment, the giant rune circle suddenly made a strange and mysterious sound. From the rune circle, white light shot out like an aurora, incomparably gorgeous. When the golden pillar of light connected with the center of the runic circle seemed to have received an energy boost. The white light exploded 10 times brighter, so bright that Luo Hua City Mistress and the Bloody Queen couldn't even open their eyes. Following a magical and beautiful sound of nature, the giant rune circle suddenly started to spin. City Mistress Fallen Flowers used her small hands to block the light. Between her fingers, she found that there were countless golden or white runes falling from the sky like raindrops. The white runes were huge like the ones on the cliff, shrinking rapidly. On the other hand, the golden runes were extremely small at first, but after coming into contact with the golden light pillar, they became bigger. Countless strange-shaped runes formed a musical melody, dancing in the sky. With their unique rhythm, they spiraled down. Finally, they entered Yu Yang's body one after another, disappearing without a trace. Only a very small number of runes floated on a City Mistress Fallen Flowers' body. They collided back and forth, but did not enter into City Mistress Fallen Flowers' body like how they entered Yu Yang's body. Most of them bounced off and floated away again. Among these runes, there were a few that successfully entered City Mistress Fallen Flowers' forehead, heart, and palm. City Lord Fallen Flowers felt her body tremble. Several types of enormous and pure energy erupted from his forehead, heart, and hands. They quickly linked up within his body and completely cleansed his entire body. The energy was so abundant that it almost burst out of his body and finally condensed in his lower abdomen. She felt that in her spiritual world, there were giant runes flashing, continuously combining together, giving her a kind of feeling that she didn't really understand, and she didn't really understand. Previously, Luo Hua City Mistress, who couldn't break through her bottleneck, felt that her mind was suddenly enlightened. Everything that she had learned in her mind suddenly became clear, as if she had been enlightened. The summoning grimoire automatically floated out, and a golden light suddenly appeared. A protective shield quickly rose up and absorbed some of the runes that were bounced back. City Lord Fallen Flowers felt her soul tremble again, and she couldn't help but faint. His figure also slowly floated in the air. However, her floating height was less than a meter, not even 1/10 of Yu Yang's height. In the instant that City Lord Fallen Flowers fainted, she realized that there were two figures with familiar auras hugging her. One of them even cried out in surprise. She immediately felt relieved. With these two people here, she, who was exhausted and wanted to sleep, could finally sleep peacefully. On the other side, the Bloody Queen raised her hands up high, holding a few golden runes formed from pure energy. Her expression was incomparably shocked. Yu Yang was currently surrounded by countless runes. Suddenly, he automatically made a special hand gesture in midair. A 7-colored rune condensed in his hands and floated between the Bloody Queen's eyebrows. The Bloody Queen let out a high-pitched scream that had never been heard before. She spread her wings and flew up to the sky. When she landed again, her body was burning with raging flames. There was also a golden light that extended from her feet to her head, then from her head to her feet. Finally, it condensed on her wings. Then, the feathers on her body shattered with a bang, turning into millions of light spots. Millions of golden light spots danced upwards and floated into Yu Yang's body. They then formed a platinum-colored light pillar and flowed into the Bloody Queen's head. The Bloody Queen's entire body, from top to bottom, looked brand new. Her flame-like hair instantly turned into platinum-colored. It draped softly behind her shoulders and hung down like a waterfall, reaching her buttocks. The platinum-colored wings grew out again. It looked more powerful, more agile, and more perfect. This change made the Bloody Queen so happy that tears streamed down her cheeks. She knew that she had leveled up from gold-ranked level 5, directly leveling up. She had crossed the heavenly moat that almost all beasts couldn't cross and leveled up to platinum-ranked level 5. This evolution was equivalent to her rebirth. She had surpassed gold-ranked and reached platinum-ranked. Then, what awaited her would be another realm, a realm that all beasts dreamt of. Only by crossing this heavenly moat could she truly enter the world of intelligent life. Only by surpassing the king tier could she truly be called a saint among beasts. The Bloody Queen knelt down with tears streaming down her cheeks. All of this was given to her by her master. Although he was her master, he had never enslaved her like those ugly humans in the legends. Even though he knew that she was a guardian beast and would never die, he was still unwilling to let her be in danger. As the Bloody Queen covered her face and cried bitterly, two golden light pillars rose up from both sides of her body. The two light pillars rose higher than City Mistress Fallen Flowers, getting closer to Yu Yang's body. One of them was even directly connected to Yu Yang's body. Many runes floated down. The Bloody Queen felt that even though she had leveled up to platinum-ranked level 5, she still felt a strong sense of oppression. It was as if there were two stronger guardian beasts roaring soundlessly behind her, declaring their strength. Following that, a shadow jumped down from the sky, shaking the small platform. It was the barbarian cow shadow on man. It was unknown when she came out, but there was a golden rune on her forehead that was similar to the Bloody Queen's. At the same time, her body was also slowly changing shape. Just as the Bloody Queen wanted to straighten her back, she suddenly felt an even stronger pressure, forcing her to bend her back in order to resist that invincible power. In the sky, there seemed to be a gigantic figure that was more than 10 meters tall, shining for a long time. After an unknown amount of time, in the center of the runic circle, there was a heavenly cry, followed by another cry. This cry had no sound, but could shake one's soul. The Bloody Queen hurriedly knelt down and crawled on the ground, showing her respect to that unparalleled existence. After the two heavenly cries disappeared, the gigantic runic circle on the cliff wall slowly stopped rotating. The white light gradually disappeared, returning to its original appearance. It was almost exactly the same, except that all the runes had moved once and their positions were different from before. All the runes rotated faster and entered Yu Yang's body. The light pillar disappeared. Yu Yang, who was floating 10 meters in the sky, slowly floated down, as light as a feather. The Bloody Queen was about to reach out her hand to catch him, but she realized that her master's most beloved Lamia was hugging him and swimming down from the void. The most peculiar 7-colored rune on her forehead was slowly disappearing between her brows. Bloody Queen hurriedly bowed and reached out her hand to catch City Mistress Fallen Flowers. On the other side, the barbarian cow shadow, a man, who had reconstructed her body for the 3rd time, reached out her hand to catch the other 2 shadows and gently placed them on the ground. Yu Yang felt that he had had a very long dream. There were countless people and stories in the dream. He could even hear people talking and laughing beside his ears, and from time to time, there was even a silvery, bell-like laughter. But when he opened his eyes, he couldn't remember anything from the dream. That feeling was clearly right in front of him, as if he could catch it if he reached out his hand, but he just couldn't remember it. It was very strange. He turned around and sat up, and realized that City Mistress Fallen Flowers was lying on him, sleeping soundly. This was an opportunity bestowed by the heavens. Yu Yang was prepared to reach out his wolfish hands and take advantage of the fact that City Mistress Fallen Flowers was sleeping soundly to push her down. Inadvertently, he glanced to the side and realized that the Bloody Queen was looking at his hands without blinking. Her eyes were filled with some kind of light. It looked too much like a human's eyes, and not like a beast's eyes. It was filled with intelligence and intelligence. Looking at her forehead again, in between her brows, there was a mystical golden rune, making her look exceptionally different. When he looked carefully, he realized that the Bloody Queen's entire body had undergone a huge change. Her wings had actually turned into platinum feathers. What's going on? Yu Yang was stunned, unable to understand. Rune, summoning, rebirth, leveling up. The Bloody Queen stuttered as she spoke. After a long time, Yu Yang still didn't understand. How did you know how to speak? Ah, that's not right. You already knew how to speak in the past. When did you learn the soaring dragon continent's language? What's going on with your hair and your wings? Yu Yang reached out his hand to touch the Bloody Queen's platinum hair and her wings. He realized that her face had actually turned red, revealing a woman's unique shyness. He was immediately even more confused. I have already leveled up. Platinum ranked. Level 5. The Bloody Queen stuttered more and more. In the end, she lowered her head and shyly avoided Yu Yang's gaze, unwilling to speak anymore. You're platinum ranked, level 5 now. When Yu Yang heard this, he was both surprised and happy. What kind of tonic did this Bloody Queen eat to level up so quickly? Even if she had leveled up, gold ranked level 5 would only be platinum ranked level 4. Now that she had leveled up to platinum ranked level 5, she must have eaten a very good tonic. Could it be that City Mistress Fallen Flowers gave her to eat? What did City Mistress Fallen Flowers give her to eat? Could it be the beautiful, demonic flower that he had fought in the space pavilion? Summoning his silver grimoire, he flipped it open and realized that the Bloody Queen's picture had disappeared. Didn't they say that guardian beasts wouldn't betray him? Immediately after, he realized that the Bloody Queen must have moved. She must have moved from his silver grimoire to the divine grimoire. The barbarian cow shadow that was left behind. Yu Yang was surprised to realize that her body was currently being reconstructed. Looking at the thorny flower demoness, it was the same. She had become a silver-ranked rune demon body thorny flower demoness. He couldn't summon the barbarian cow shadow and the thorny flower demoness anymore. On the quintet seeking Golden Mice's picture, there were different runes arranged in different ways. Yu Yang's head started to hurt. He completely couldn't understand how so many runes could enter his silver grimoire. Moreover, there was one for every beast. Even the mysterious golden beast on his wrist had one. Sweat. Yu Yang summoned Little One Li. He strangely realized that there was no rune on the little Loli's forehead. When Little One Li came out, she yawned cutely as if she hadn't slept enough. Forget it. Let the little lowly sleep for a while more. Yang was about to let her go back to sleep when he suddenly realized that there was something wrong with the little lowly. Why did she seem to have grown a little taller? Using his level 3 divine vision, he realized that the little lowly had actually leveled up. Originally, no matter how many monsters he killed, the little lowly serpent demon had no reaction at all. There was no sign of leveling up at all. But now, she had magically leveled up. The most confusing thing was that Yu Yang didn't know how she leveled up at all. This was really strange. City Mistress Fallen Flowers had woken up unknowingly. She looked at Yu Yang with a smile. What's going on? What happened when I was unconscious? Of course, Yu Yang wanted to know the cause and effect. Otherwise, his curiosity could kill a cat. I was unconscious the whole time. I woke up even later than you. How would I know? I don't know anything. I don't even know that your bloody queen had leveled up from gold rank to platinum rank. When City Mistress Fallen Flowers said this, Yu Yang almost fell into the abyss. This boast was even worse than what he had said. This girl definitely said this on purpose to take revenge on him. She definitely did it on purpose. You win. Yu Yang knew that he wouldn't be able to get any information out of City Mistress Fallen Flowers. He thought to himself, if you don't say anything, I won't find a reason myself. You flatter me. City Mistress Fallen Flowers seemed to be trying very hard to hold back her laughter. Her shoulders shook, but she just didn't laugh out loud. Who were you talking to just now? Yu Yang suddenly asked her. He remembered that in his dream, he seemed to have heard a few girls chattering beside his ears. From time to time, they would even let out bell-like laughter. The Bloody Queen had just learned how to speak, so she was still a stutterer. Little Wanli was still young and didn't know how to speak, so they definitely couldn't join in. Since that was the case, then who was it that was chatting with City Mistress Fallen Flowers just now? Chapter 172. You're definitely dreaming. City Mistress Fallen Flowers nodded her head with certainty. Yu Yang knew that he wasn't dreaming because he was having another dream at that time. There was no reason for a person to have two dreams at the same time. Even if City Mistress Fallen Flowers didn't say, Yu Yang could guess that it was probably the mysterious beauty who had been following him. Even Princess Sisai, the royal swordwoman, might have come together. The three of them said that they didn't know each other, but in reality, they were most likely friends. Moreover, they were close friends. What made Yu Yang feel the most strange was that he couldn't sense the mysterious beauty with his senses. She should be hiding outside of his sensing range, not too far away, but just enough that he couldn't sense her. This was really strange. How did she know his sensing range? This mysterious beauty was really mysterious. Could it be that it was her inherent skill? Yu Yang had many suspicions in his heart, but he didn't show it on his face. After resting, they climbed up the Cloud Peak Lake again. After spending half a day, Yu Yang and City Mistress Fallen Flowers climbed up the Cloud Peak Lake that was suspended high up in the sky. In Yu Yang's eyes, this was actually the accumulated water of an extinct volcano. Because it had been around for a long time, it had become a giant mountain lake. The Cloud Peak Lake wasn't very big. Even with the mist, they could still see the other side clearly. The entire lake was shaped like an irregular oval, with a maximum distance of a few kilometers. Circling around it, it was estimated to be more than 10 kilometers. Are there water monsters here? Yu Yang had heard many rumors about water monsters in the Cloud Peak Lake. Of course, that was before he transmigrated to this world. What are you talking about? Large-scale fish-type beasts? City Mistress Fallen Flowers didn't have any concept of water monsters, because there were all kinds of strange beasts everywhere in the soaring dragon continent. There were too many monsters. Pretend I didn't ask. Yu Yang wasn't very interested in water monsters right now, because he had seen so many different kinds of beasts running around the streets, and at the same time, he had personally killed many of them. Yu Yang was no longer curious about monsters. The starlight serene indigo grass was not in the cloud-top lake, but on a higher mountain peak. The precipitous peak pierced the clouds, and the precipice was smooth and barren. Yu Yang spent a lot of effort to carry City Lord Fallen Flowers up. City Lord Fallen Flowers could also climb by herself, but she was weak and had poor patience. After climbing for a while, she had to rest. In addition, the mountain wind was extremely cold, whistling like ghosts wailing and wolves howling. Yu Yang was very worried about this little girl, so in the end he still tied her to his back. The highest cliff was bare. Apart from a small amount of snow, there was nothing else. Yu Yang was originally a little discouraged. It seemed like the starlight serene indigo grass had already been taken by someone else. In the end, it was all for naught. Luo Hua's city mistress, on the other hand, started to search carefully. In the end, she found a crack in the stone entrance. There seemed to be a hole inside, and the stone crack could barely fit a single person. The two of them used their hands and feet to climb down more than 10 meters and found a protruding cliff at the bottom. There was a strange flower that shone faintly like the stars. Looking up, there was a line of starry sky, and below was a cave sheltered from the wind. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth converged at one place, and it was a divine creation. Only such a treasure land could grow such a magical flower. Starlight, serene indigo grass. Yu Yang had looked through the records of the medicine encyclopedia more than once, and found that it was extremely rare. According to the classification, it was a rank 6 elixir. It was unknown where it would grow, but it would definitely grow on a high cliff. Moreover, it would be bathed in the starry sky, and its height would not be covered by any plants. Within a radius of 100 meters, not even a single blade of grass would grow. According to the records of the medicine encyclopedia, this starlight, serene indigo grass, was a product of the outer realm of Tong Tian Tower. 10,000 years ago, it was brought back by a starlight princess. This starlight princess liked to be alone, but she also loved to be noble and pure. She liked to live deep in the mountains, accompanied by hundreds of flowers. After the starlight princess was assassinated, her blood dyed the hundreds of flowers, and her soul fused with the hundreds of flowers. Among them, the serene indigo grass that the starlight princess liked the most obtained the most spiritual energy. From then on, people called this serene indigo grass that contained the starlight princess spiritual energy as the starlight serene indigo grass. This starlight serene indigo grass was no different from its owner's loneliness and purity. It would not bloom unless it was in the vast starry sky, and could not be plucked unless it was a virgin with a pure heart. As long as a man stretched out his hand to pluck it, the spiritual energy would immediately dissipate, and the grass would wither. City Lord Fallen Flowers was extremely excited when she saw this starlight, serene indigo grass. She pulled Yu Yang to the side and repeatedly warned him not to approach it. Before she approached the high cliff, she even stepped into the small pool on the cliff and bathed for a long time. She washed her body clean of Yu Yang's masculine scent. Only then did she walk towards the small cluster of starlight, serene indigo grass with excitement. It was just a few stalks, but it gave off a feeling that it was as resplendent as the stars. Your Highness Starlight Princess, please bestow 3 stalks of starlight, serene indigo grass to Fallen Flowers. Fallen Flowers does not dare to ask for more, but I ask for 3 stalks. Before plucking it, City Lord Fallen Flowers even closed her eyes and prayed devoutly. Why does it feel like something's wrong? Yu Yang suddenly felt a chill in his heart. There were no strong beasts in this cave. Because the starlight, serene indigo grass grew in a natural stronghold, no strong beasts seemed to have discovered its existence. However, Yu Yang still felt that something was wrong, and his heart felt uneasy. Just as Yu Yang was searching the cave with a heart full of doubts, a delicate shout sounded from the top of the cave. Following that, there was a loud, rumbling sound, as if there were people fighting fiercely on the top of One-Line Paradise. At the same time that Yu Yang turned around to look, a scorching flame shot out from the small cracks on the rocks, aiming straight for City Lord Fallen Flowers. Yu Yang's heart trembled. He was very familiar with this kind of flame. This was the luminous demon Ding Zhang's hellfire. As expected, the luminous demon Ding Zhang did not give up and followed behind him. However, at the top of the cave, who discovered that the luminous demon Ding Zhang was preparing to ambush him and stopped him. Could it be Princess Sisai? Yu Yang had a special impression of Princess Sisai's delicate shout in battle. Her delicate shout was different from the others. It was especially crisp and clear, full of heroic spirit, and had a kind of heroic spirit. Although he did not hear it very clearly just now, he could still feel it. Furthermore, he also realized that there was a great danger. With Princess Sisai's strength, she might not be the luminous demon Ding Zhang's opponent in a one-on-one fight. Now that the battle was going on fiercely, the luminous demon Ding Zhang still had the strength to release hellfire to attack City, Lord Fallen Flowers, and burn the starlight, serene indigo grass. This meant that the luminous demon Ding Zhang was not alone. He definitely had a helper. Danger! Yu Yang anxiously wanted to jump up the cliff to protect City, Lord Fallen Flowers. Don't come over. Please don't come over. City Lord Fallen Flowers hurriedly summoned her grimoire and raised her shield to block the scorching flames. In her heart, the starlight, serene indigo grass was more important than anything else. Even if she was injured, she was not willing to see these unique flowers wither. Another earth-shattering sound came from the cave above. The earth shook and the mountains shook. No one knew how the battle was going. Yu Yang's heart was burning with anxiety. He quickly climbed up and prepared to help Princess Sisai, who was fighting a bitter battle outside, at the bottom of the mountain. Hui Tai-lang leisurely accompanied the three-tailed snow fox, trying to communicate with it using various foreign languages. Unfortunately, his foreign language skills were not good enough. Let alone the three-tailed snow fox, even dogs and cats might not understand what he was saying. Actions were the most practical. From time to time, Hui Tai-lang would catch a snow rabbit, hoping to please the little beauty. He did not know that the three-tailed snow fox was a vegetarian just like its master. If Hui Tai-lang gave it a wisdom fruit or a hoarfrost truffle, it would definitely like it more. As for the bloody snow rabbit, the three-tailed snow fox did not like it at all. It elegantly wrapped its long tail around itself and slept comfortably on the snowy ground, quietly waiting for its master to return. In comparison, Hui Tai-lang was much more active. Of course, it was also waiting for Yu Yang, but it did not forget to entertain itself. When it saw a snow rabbit, it would chase after it. When it saw a snow pheasant, it would not let it go either. While the snow foxes were sleeping, it even chased a group of noisy level 3 snow wolves 10 kilometers away before returning. It also killed a few giant spiders it met along the way and dug out the demon cores of the poison spiders. Hui Tai-lang could not bear to eat it and kept nagging along the way. It proudly trotted back and prepared to use it to please the snow fox. However, when it returned to the mountain pass, the horrifying scene in front of it made it go crazy. The whole snowy field was covered in blood. The snow fox had already transformed into a giant six-tailed fox spirit. Its body was covered in wounds, and it was being attacked and bitten by a few beasts. It was screaming in pain. In front of it, there was a corrupted warrior holding a dark green ball of pollution in his hand. He was trying to stop the six-tailed fox spirit from releasing the spiritual fragrance to increase its power. He had also inserted a huge metal rune pillar into the ground. The black metal rune pillar released a black halo that continuously spread outwards, greatly suppressing the six-tailed fox spirit's power. 3 bronze-ranked level 6 hyenas used their terrifying sharp teeth to bite the six-tailed fox spirit's body. Every time they bit, a piece of flesh would be torn off from the six-tailed fox spirit's body. The wounded and bloody six-tailed fox spirit could not fight with its full strength. The power in its body was suppressed by the black halo of the metal rune pillar, and the spiritual fragrance was expelled by the ball of pollution. Its speed was now 10 times slower than usual. Although it was still very fast, it could not escape from the attacks of the 3 hyenas. Furthermore, its enemies were not just the 3 hyenas. There were also 3 other beasts that were stronger than the hyenas attacking the six-tailed fox spirit at the same time. They were 2 silver-ranked level 5 thunder leopards and a silver-ranked level 6 manticore. The 6 beasts opened their bloody mouths and surrounded the six-tailed fox spirit, preventing it from escaping. At the same time, they attacked it crazily. Ha 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 ha, baby, you belong to me now. Come, come, what a beautiful and intelligent white fox. Only I, Lai, am worthy to be your master. I will definitely train you into a holy beast. Come to me, your master. Ha ha. The corrupted warrior, whose body was covered with totem tattoos, took out a contract scroll and opened it. A white light appeared and a chain-like contract light shone on the six-tailed fox spirit's head. The six-tailed fox spirit was already in so much pain that it wanted to die. When the contract light shone on it, it felt even more pain. Its footsteps were staggering as it struggled in the light of the contract. Woof! The three hyenas and the two thunder leopards took the opportunity to bite the six-tailed fox spirit. They tore off pieces of bloody flesh from its body. Roar! The most sinister manticore hooked its scorpion-like tail and pierced it deeply into the six-tailed fox spirit's front leg, trying its best to release its poison. Although the poison did not have much effect on the six-tailed fox spirit, this attack made the six-tailed fox spirit even worse. The six-tailed fox spirit fell to the ground. The hyenas, thunder leopards, and manticore pounced on the six-tailed fox spirit at the same time and bit it crazily. Blood splattered everywhere, and the white fur of the fox flew everywhere. Even one of its long tails was torn in half. Fresh blood covered the ground. It was a tragic sight. The six-tailed fox spirit used the last of its strength and screeched as it jumped crazily. In midair, it jumped down like lightning and pounced towards the corrupted warrior. It closed its mouth and quickly crushed the scroll of opportunity, refusing to contract with him. With a sweep of its six blood-stained tails, it sent the thunder leopard flying and the corrupted warrior tumbling on the ground. The corrupted warrior's ball of pollution also fell to the ground. The corrupted warrior touched his face and realized that his face was swollen after being hit by the fox's tail. His nose was bleeding. He immediately became furious. He picked up the metal rune pole and smashed it on the six-tailed fox spirit's head. He then swung it again, sending the six-tailed fox spirit flying more than 10 meters away. He roared, "You don't know how to appreciate my kindness. Bite me to death." At that moment, Hui Tai Lang, who had used all his strength to rush over from the mountain pass, saw this scene and went berserk. Chapter 173. Hui Tai Lang let out the loudest howl of its life. Its howl shook the earth and shook the valley. Its red eyes almost popped out of its eye sockets. It was so angry that its chest was about to explode. The black flames on its body erupted like a volcano and exploded in all directions. Just as the hyenas, thunder leopards, and chimeras were about to tear the six-tailed fox spirit into pieces, Hui Tai Lang leaped up the mountain wall like a demon king. He then jumped down again, crossing tens of meters, and knocked the fastest thunder leopard away like a meteor. He then landed firmly in front of the six-tailed fox spirit that was on the verge of death. Currently, it was only silver-ranked level 4, but it could completely ignore its opponent's higher-level suppression. Its four wolf eyes were filled with rage that could burn the heavens and the earth. Black flames soared to the sky as demonic energy exploded. With a roar, the six higher-level beasts all retreated in fear. That corrupted warrior was shocked by Hui Tai Lang's ferocious roar. At first, he thought that it was a Gold King beast, and his hands trembled. Upon closer inspection, he realized that it was only a silver-ranked level 4 two-headed demon wolf. Furthermore, it was not contracted. He was overjoyed. Looks like I have gotten a great bargain. The information was right. That brat really has a spiritual two-headed demon wolf. It was the right choice to stay and ambush him. Good. Compared to six-tailed fox spirit, I prefer two-headed demon wolf. The three bronze-ranked level 6 hyenas realized that Hui Tai Lang was only powerful, but its level was not as high as theirs. They immediately let out a cry and rushed forward. They opened their bloody mouths and used their sharp teeth that could crush a bison's skull to bite at Grey Wolf. The other thunder leopard was very cunning and did not fight Hui Tai Lang head-on. Instead, it went around it and jumped onto the mountain wall nimbly. With a jump, It prepared to jump onto the unconscious six-tailed fox spirit and finish it off. Seeing the enemy attack, Hui Tai Lang's body started to burn with black flames. Hui Tai Lang leaped up high and turned into a meteor, crashing into the Thunder Leopard's ribs. The silver-ranked level 5 Thunder Leopard was sent flying by it. He smashed into the mountain wall with a loud boom, causing the snow on the mountain wall to scatter and rustle down. Grey Wolf didn't wait for the Thunder Leopard to scream. It pounced on the Thunder Leopard as soon as it bounced back. One of its jaws opened wide, directly locking onto the Thunder Leopard's throat, while the other bit onto the Thunder Leopard's spine. His foreclaws dug deep into the stone wall, and at the same time, he smashed the Thunder Leopard against the stone wall. This not only deepened the depth of the bite, but also increased the bleeding. It could also stop the Thunder Leopard from struggling. This was a hunting skill that Yu Yang had taught Hui Tai Lang. He had told it before that many beasts had the ability to feign death. Biting its opponent's throat might not necessarily kill it. The best way to kill it was to attack its throat and spine at the same time, inflicting heavy damage on its opponent. Hui Tai Lang had two heads anyway. In the process of attacking, regardless of whether the enemy struggled or not, he had to increase the damage, bite his teeth deeper, and use his bite force to its fullest. It turned out that Grey Wolf had not been able to control it well. Yu Yang was very dissatisfied with this, and even scolded it as a stupid dog. Now, it was in a dangerous situation. The hunting skill that it had learned in the past was immediately unleashed. The fresh blood that flowed out from its prey's wound had deeply stimulated Hui Tai Lang's killing intent and comprehension. It had even killed its opponent in a way that exceeded Yu Yang's expectations. It had taught itself how to kill its opponent. Even if it was a Thunder Leopard that was a higher level than it, it would not be able to retaliate at all under its attack. At the same time, the hyenas that did not have strong jumping ability and the Thunder Leopard that was limping after being hit by Hui Tai Lang looked at Hui Tai Lang, who was more than 10 meters above the ground. They could only watch with folded arms, unable to do anything. They could only watch as Hui Tai Lang trampled on its companion, unable to save it. They could only roar at Hui Tai Lang crazily, provoking it. The silver-ranked level 6 Manticore spread its wings and flew clumsily. It was prepared to use its scorpion tail to stab Hui Tai Lang. As long as it was poisoned, Hui Tai Lang's battle power would be greatly reduced, and it might even die. Without waiting for the Manticore to fly closer, Hui Tai Lang swung its head and threw the Thunder Leopard in its mouth towards the Manticore. The Thunder Leopard was nailed to the Manticore's tail, and it let out a blood-curdling scream that echoed throughout the valley. Hui Tai Lang turned around and jumped onto the Manticore's back. It started to crazily bite the ugly wings on its back and used its sharp claws to tear them apart. The Manticore was originally too big and heavy, so its flying ability was clumsy. It was first affected by the weight of the Thunder Leopard, and then by the pressure from Hui Tai Lang. It had already reached its limit. As soon as its wings were injured by Hui Tai Lang, it immediately fell to the ground like a meteorite. Boom! The Manticore and the Thunder Leopard rolled heavily on the ground. So smart. The corrupted warrior was completely dumbfounded. This two-headed demon wolf was 100 times smarter than he had imagined. Oh, Hui Tai Lang continued to press down on the Manticore. It spun in mid-air, its foreclaws firmly planted on the Manticore's head. Only when the Manticore fell into the snow did it loosen its claws and use the momentum to jump up, reducing the impact of the fall. The three hyenas immediately pounced on Hui Tai Lang ferociously and opened their mouths, wanting to bite Hui Tai Lang. However, it was already too late. Grey Wolf had already shot towards the heavily injured Thunder Leopard, who had suffered a series of attacks. Its throat was bitten, its spine was injured, and its abdomen was pierced by the scorpion tail. At the same time, it was smashed into the ground. If it wasn't silver rank level 5, this Thunder Leopard would have died long ago. Just as it was about to struggle and run back to its master's side, Hui Tai Lang whizzed towards it and sent it flying. Once again, it slammed the Thunder Leopard against the stone wall. Hui Tai Lang's left head firmly locked onto the Thunder Leopard's throat for the second time. At the same time, it sucked the blood that flowed out from its throat, speeding up the thunder leopard's death. On the other hand, it used its claws to tear open the thunder leopard's abdomen, crazily tearing it apart. Hui Tai Lang remembered that Yu Yang had once told it, when facing a group of enemies that were hard to defeat, it should start with the weakest one and kill it with a single strike. Hui Tai Lang did not understand what Yu Yang had said. Rather than injuring 10 fingers, it is better to break one finger. However, it understood Yu Yang's previous demonstrations, which was that it must kill one of its enemies, and it must kill it until it was absolutely dead. The thunder leopard was on the brink of death. On its body, a burst of electricity flashed crazily, making crackling sounds. At the brink of death, it used its last life-saving move to shock its opponent with electricity. Although it was more proficient in condensing electric balls in its mouth to bombard its opponent, it did not have the chance to do so right now. It could only release electricity from its entire body, hoping that Hui Tai Lang would let go. The electricity exploded, causing Hui Tai Lang's entire body to sizzle and emit smoke. However, Hui Tai Lang was determined. Once a bit down, it would not let go. Even if its entire body was char black, it would not let go. The other thunder leopard condensed a ball of electricity in its mouth and shot it towards Hui Tai Lang. Hui Tai Lang nimbly jumped up and dodged it. Seeing that it could not succeed, the thunder leopard used its extreme speed to pounce towards Hui Tai Lang in order to save its comrade. It tightly bit onto Hui Tai Lang's hind leg and cooperated with its comrade to release electricity, vowing to save its comrade. The two thunder leopards attacked from the front and the back, causing Hui Tai Lang's entire body to emit smoke. The three hyenas and the manticore that were preparing to attack Hui Tai Lang hurriedly retreated, afraid that they would be implicated. Enduring the pain of being electrocuted, Hui Tai Lang's sharp claws and teeth finally tore open the thunder leopard's abdomen after hundreds of times of tearing and biting. In an instant, blood splattered everywhere, and the brightly colored intestines were also pulled out by Hui Tai Lang. Right at this moment, a runic metal pillar descended from the sky. The corrupted warrior called Lai Lai swung the rune metal pillar and slammed it down heavily, smashing the rune metal pillar onto Hui Tai Lang's spine. This guy knew very well the weaknesses of wolves, dogs, foxes, and cats. The weaknesses of small and medium-sized beasts were very obvious. Firstly, they were afraid of having their throats locked. Secondly, they were afraid of having their spines smashed. If Hui Tai Lang had not evolved into an iron-backed demonic wolf before, his spine would probably have been broken immediately after being smashed. Right now, he roared furiously like thunder. After being smashed, not only did he not fall, he even bent his waist and shook the runic metal pillar away. Both of his heads tore at the thunder leopard's body from both sides. His sharp claws pressed down on the middle, and he pulled with all his might. The thunder leopard's abdomen was split open, and countless of its innards flowed out onto the ground. Hui Tai Lang was still afraid that the thunder leopard would not die, so he even forcefully tore out its beating heart and ate it in one bite. In 3 minutes, Hui Tai Lang had killed its first enemy, the silver-ranked level 5 thunder leopard. Damn it! The corrupted warrior called Lai Lai had the strength of a level 6 beginner, elder. When he saw Hui Tai Lang, he flew into a rage. He raised his metal rune pillar angrily and swept it horizontally. With a heavy blow, Hui Tai Lang was sent flying more than 10 meters away. Hui Tai Lang, who was tumbling in midair, fell heavily onto the snowy ground. His 4 claws left deep marks on the ground, and fresh blood dripped down from the corner of his mouth. However, his eyes were burning with anger as he stared coldly at the corrupted warrior. The manticore's scorpion tail sneakily attacked. With a whoosh sound, it hit Hui Tai Lang's right hind leg. Hui Tai Lang did not panic. He turned his body and used his claws to press down on the scorpion tail. His 2 wolf heads madly bit the manticore's tail. The manticore felt the pain and swung its tail, slamming Hui Tai Lang heavily onto the ground. An opportunity had come. Ever since he saw Yin Pejun's flaming lion, Yu Yang had taught Hui Tai Lang, "Stupid dog, do you know what a lion's weakness is? Its hind legs don't have enough strength, so it can't stand on its hind legs, and it can't jump. Its body is too tough, so it can't turn nimbly, so it's hard for its front claws to attack the enemy behind it. At this moment, what you need to do is to break its anus and injure its innards, understand? It's best not to fight the lion head-on. You need to attack from the back. Of course, you need to see if it's a male lion or a lioness. A lioness is far more agile than a male lion, so this move is very difficult to execute. I'm talking about a male lion, which is Yin Pejun's flaming lion. Stupid dog, do you understand? At that time, Hui Tai Lang didn't understand, but now he understood. With his master's teachings and his natural instincts, he bit the manticore's hind legs with both of his heads and pierced his claws deeply into the manticore's anus. He used all of his strength to smash the innards into pieces and then crazily dug them out. Blood splattered everywhere, and the manticore let out a sorrowful cry towards the sky. Behind him, the corrupted warrior Lai Lai, who was about to smash the metal rune pillar, was completely stunned. What a cunning beast! The scene in front of him was simply unbelievable. A silver-ranked level 4 two-headed demon wolf was actually able to heavily injure a silver-ranked level 6 manticore. Furthermore, all of this was under his control. Bastard, you're looking for death. The corrupted warrior, Lai Lai, who had regained consciousness, raised the metal rune pillar angrily and crazily smashed it towards Hui Tai Lang. Hui Tai Lang bit the manticore's hind legs tightly without making a sound. His claws pierced through the manticore's anus hundreds of times and dug out all kinds of innards time and time again. The manticore was not dead yet, but it was currently in a state worse than death. It had already betrayed its master long ago and only wanted to escape from this place as soon as possible. However, Hui Tai Lang did not let it go and swore to kill it. The 3 bronze-ranked level 6 hyenas whimpered and pounced forward to bite the manticore a few times. However, this scared the crazy Hui Tai Lang out of his wits, and they all retreated far away, not daring to attack. The corrupted warrior Lai Lai did not know how many times he had raised a metal rune pillar and smashed it. Finally, he fiercely smashed it on Hui Tai Lang's spine. Finally, Hui Tai Lang let go. Although the manticore in front of him had not breathed its last, it was not far from death. A large pile of innards was dug out by Hui Tai Lang. Hui Tai Lang's entire body was drenched in blood. There was the blood of its enemies, and also its own. It staggered towards the 6-tailed fox spirit. The corrupted warrior Lai Lai was also panting heavily. He was extremely tired. He had never seen such a tenacious demon wolf before. In 10 minutes, Hui Tai Lang killed its second enemy, the silver-ranked level 6 manticore. Go kill it. The corrupted warrior Lai pointed at the heavily injured Hui Tai Lang, who was vomiting blood nonstop, and ordered the thunder leopard and the 3 hyenas to bite it to death. Awoo! Hui Tai Lang raised its head and howled. Even though it was heavily injured, it was still able to scare the thunder leopard and the 3 hyenas into retreating. All of you are trash. The corrupted warrior Lai raised his metal rune pole angrily. Just as he was about to smash Hui Tai Lang to death, 6 bloodied fox tails suddenly swept towards him, sending him flying far away. The 6-tailed fox spirit's body expanded by 10 times. Its spiritual power exploded, and its 6 tails moved without any wind. A strange fragrance filled the air. It spat out a ball of pure light from its mouth, which landed on the heavily injured Hui Tai Lang's body. In an instant, Hui Tai Lang's injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Its black flames exploded, and it howled towards the sky. Its voice rumbled and resounded throughout the entire valley. Its life force had recovered, and it turned back into the unkillable Hui Tai Lang. After the 6-tailed fox spirit released its light, its body quickly shrunk and returned to the form of a 3-tailed snow fox. Its eyes quietly closed, as if it had already passed away. Hui Tai Lang went berserk. It pounced towards the corrupted warrior Lai with all its might. This time, its target to kill was this powerful human. This powerful human, no matter what, must die. Kill it, I hate this kind of gaze the most. The corrupted warrior Lai realized that under Hui Tai Lang's gaze, an unfamiliar fear welled up in his heart. Oh, Hui Tai Lang rushed forward recklessly. It only had one target, and that was this human. 5 minutes later, the thunder leopard that was blocking its way had its spine bitten off by Hui Tai Lang. This was the third enemy that Hui Tai Lang had killed. Half an hour later, Hui Tai Lang's entire body had been bitten until it was a bloody mess. There was not a single part of its body that wasn't injured. Even the head of the wolf on its left had been smashed to pieces. However, all of the hyenas had fallen in front of it, torn to pieces by it. This was the sixth enemy that it had killed. Furthermore, it was the sixth enemy that it had killed under the joint attack of the corrupted warrior Lai. In front of Hui Tai Lang, there was only Lai, who was drenched in sweat and covered in blood. His hands that were hugging the rune metal pillar were trembling. This was the first time that he had been scared by a beast that he had never thought highly of. He was so scared that his entire body was trembling. If this silver-ranked level 4 two-headed demon wolf was just a little stronger, the one who would have died today would not have been it, but him. Lai was a famous beast taming grandmaster in the demonic palace. His understanding and taming of beasts was 100 times better than a normal warrior's. In his life, Lai had seen countless strong beasts. However, he had never seen a two-headed demon wolf with such a strong will. Never. According to its injuries, this two-headed demon wolf should have died a long time ago. However, it didn't die. It even wanted to kill him. With its injuries, it shouldn't have been able to stand. It could only quietly wait for its death. However, it was still fighting. I don't care if you are a two-headed demon wolf or a three-headed Cerberus. I don't believe this. I must kill you today. Lai was terrified. He felt that if he didn't kill this two-headed demon wolf today, he might not need to tame beasts anymore. Right now, as long as he closed his eyes, he would see this two-headed demon wolf's terrifying eyes. They were blood red and filled with killing intent. If he didn't kill it and get rid of this demon in his heart, Lai suspected that he would go crazy in the future. Hui Tai Lang couldn't stop vomiting blood. It only had the strength to attack one last time. If it was in its normal state, it would have died long ago. However, for revenge, it must kill this human in front of it. Even if it had to die together with him, it must kill him. You want to kill me? No way. You want to kill me in your current state? Lai laughed coldly. He knew that Hui Tai Lang was already exhausted. As long as he attacked one last time, Hui Tai Lang would die in front of him. Lai raised the metal rune pillar and gathered all his strength. It smashed down with a thunderous force. Boom! Just as Lai raised the rune metal pillar and used all the strength he had in his life to smash down on Grey Wolf's remaining head, a thunderous boom rang out. A huge figure used its body to cover Hui Tai Lang. This was the six-tailed fox spirit that had feigned death just now. After it had woken up from its feigned death state, it saw that Hui Tai Lang was about to be smashed to death by Lai's heavy blow. It immediately leapt forward and used its body to block this fatal blow for Hui Tai Lang. Hui Tai Lang saw the huge body of the six-tailed fox spirit fall to the ground in front of him. Fresh blood splattered all over the ground. It didn't roar, nor did it cry out in pain. It only used the last of its strength and angrily leapt towards the corrupted warrior Lai. It opened its mouth and directly locked onto his throat. 10 minutes later, with one of its front legs broken and one of its heads smashed, Hui Tai Lang spat out Lai's head from its mouth. It then crawled towards the six-tailed fox spirit with great difficulty. Behind it, there was a long trail of blood. In front of it, the six-tailed fox spirit had turned into a three-tailed snow fox with its head smashed to pieces. At this moment, it was still under the blood-stained metal rune pillar. In the end, it blocked the fatal blow for Hui Tai Lang and collapsed on its own. Fresh blood dyed its originally snow-white body red. Hui Tai Lang no longer had the strength to pull the heavy metal rune pillar away. He had no strength to save the three-tailed snow fox. He could only use his wolf's mouth to bite the pillar and pull it with all his might. Yu Yang's words to him to take good care of the three-tailed snow fox seemed to echo in his ears. Suddenly, Tears of blood flowed from Hui Tai Lang's eyes and dripped down. It faced the sky and let out a long and sorrowful howl. Its voice was heartbreaking and made people cry. The sorrowful howl reverberated in the valley for a long time. The unkillable Hui Tai Lang collapsed on top of the metal rune pillar. As it slowly closed its eyes, the blood-red world disappeared from its consciousness. The originally black metal rune pillar suddenly emitted a weak white light. The light became stronger and stronger. Finally, a clear rune diagram appeared. It rose from the metal rune pillar and floated in the white light. A few golden runes entered Hui Tai Lang's body, while the white runes entered the three-tailed snow fox's body. After an unknown amount of time, the white light gradually weakened and disappeared. The metal rune pillar shattered with a pa sound. It shattered into pieces on the ground. The sound woke Hui Tai Lang up. Its eyes suddenly opened. Chapter 174. On the high cliff of the mountain, in the Heaven's Line Cave. Yu Yang was preparing to climb out of the Heaven's Line Cave to save Princess Sisai. Suddenly, there was a huge tremor from above. The sound was as loud as the thunder god's roar, and gravel rained down. Amidst the flying gravel, a figure fell down like a meteorite. It seemed that he was no match for his opponent and was blasted down the cave. Seeing that the person was about to crash onto the rocks, Yu Yang hurriedly flew over and hugged the person's waist. As a result, the falling force was too great. Yu Yang couldn't completely dissipate the force even after using all his energy. The two of them couldn't help but crash onto rocks, and the rock shattered. Yu Yang felt his vision turning black. This was after he had dissipated most of the force of the fall. If he didn't, his ribs would have been broken. He looked at the person in his embrace. As expected, it was Princess Sisai, the royal swordswoman. Without hesitation, he took out his Hui Jin magic blade. Idiot, I'm real. Princess Sisai was afraid that this brat would attack her. She hurriedly glared at him with her tiger-like eyes, warning him not to act recklessly. Didn't you already return to the palace? Why are you following behind me? Yu Yang hugged the beauty and couldn't bear to let go. He moved his nose closer and sniffed the fragrance of Princess Sisai's virginity. He sighed in his heart that having a girl in one's embrace was indeed better than having a kingdom in one's hands. Could it be that so many wolves were willing to die under a peony flower? Stay away from it. Princess Sisai realized that this brat actually didn't forget to take liberties with her and sniffed around. Instantly, her face turned red. She jumped up and pushed Yu Yang's wolf hand away. A wave of hellfire came crashing down from the sky. This time, its target was not City Mistress Fallen Flowers, but Princess Sisai. Princess Sisai didn't retreat, but advanced instead. Facing the sky, full of flames, she waved her sword and slashed. The flames split into two halves. The sword he unleashed soared into the sky and struck the rocks on the ceiling of the cave, cutting deep into the rock. Princess Qian was worried that Yu Yang would be burnt to a crisp by the hellfire, but when she turned around, she found that this brat was squatting behind her, using her body as a shield. He was safe and sound, and there was even a sneaky smile on his face that was asking for a beating. This made Princess Qian very angry. What are you doing? Yu Yang was admiring Princess Sisai's beautiful curves and perky buttocks. Usually, most of them were covered by her silver armor, so it wasn't too obvious. Just now, she had forcefully waved her sword to defeat the enemy. Her movements were very big, and her curves were completely exposed. Of course, although Yu Yang appreciated it, he wouldn't say it out loud. In his heart, he had wanted to say that he wanted to hide from the flames here, but he didn't expect to be glared at by that tigress, and the words that came out of his mouth were, "I'm here to enjoy the scenery. How's the scenery?" Princess Sisai flew into a rage. "It's not bad. It's just that I can't see it clearly. It might be better if I take off my armor." Yu Yang was daydreaming in his heart, and accidentally said the truth. "Then I'll let you see it clearly." Princess Sisai lifted her buttocks, and her body suddenly slammed backwards. Her buttocks smashed into Yu Yang's face, sending him flying a few meters away. Yu Yang covered his nose in pain for a long time. In his heart, he thought that his luck with women wasn't easy to enjoy. If she had slammed into him naked, it would have been fine, but she just had to wear solid silver armor. It was really terrible. City Mistress Fallen Flowers didn't have time to care about the two of them. She was currently looking at a stalk of starlight, serene indigo grass that couldn't be protected outside the protective shield. Under the hellfire, it quickly turned into ashes. That flower turned into specks of starlight and disappeared from the cave. As a flower lover, she was extremely angry in her heart. However, she had no choice but to endure it first. She plucked the remaining starlight, serene indigo grass into the jade box that she had prepared beforehand. A series of loud noises came from the top of the cave. Broken rocks the size of millstones flew down. When Yu Yang and Princess Sisai dodged them, they discovered that the enemy above had already forcefully opened a huge crack in the stone crevice of the Heaven-Line cave. Then, he arrogantly jumped into the cave. The person who came was the luminous demon Dingzong. He didn't dare to be careless against the joint attack of Yu Yang and Princess Sisai. Once he descended, he immediately summoned his grimoire and raised his protective shield. Unlike him, the luminous demon Dingzang's companion was extremely arrogant. It was a giant that was as strong as an ox. His muscles were overflowing, and his body was extremely tall and sturdy. Both of his arms were strangely shaped gloves that looked like giant hammers. The glossy black iron gloves were cast with countless wolf fang barbs. Not only did it look terrifying, it also had shocking killing power. If anyone were to take a punch from him, even if they didn't die, their whole body would probably be broken. The giant was abnormally confident. The skin on his upper body was exposed, and he didn't wear any armor at all. Even his legs were only wearing black leather pants. As soon as he landed, he crushed the huge rock beneath his feet, causing the entire cave to tremble. Yu Yang discovered that this giant's strength seemed to be stronger than the luminous demon Dingzong. Furthermore, it was a pure, strengthening-type beast, a mad warrior. There was a gold-ranked beast in his body, and his battle power was extremely terrifying. Although he couldn't compare to that abnormal marquis of Zijin, this giant definitely couldn't be underestimated. If there were only two people, then it would already be a tough battle. However, in reality, there were far more than two enemies. There was a masked skinny man who was as skinny as a bamboo pole. He landed on a rock soundlessly. Jumping down from a height of tens of meters, his feet didn't even make a sound. This kind of light body lifting technique made Yu Yang frown. He would rather fight two strength-type opponents like the giant than fight an agility-type opponent like the masked skinny man. The fourth person was an old man wearing a bamboo hat. He held an emerald green fishing rod in his hand and carried a huge gourd on his back. He looked like a fisherman from the countryside, but his strength should be the strongest among them. There was also a fifth person who floated down from the cave roof. This was a woman with fresh flowers on her head and heavy makeup. She had a sexy figure, and her breasts were protruding like balls, almost tearing her clothes apart. At the same time, they were extremely bouncy. When she landed on the ground, her pair of huge breasts trembled nonstop. Although Yu Yang's eyes were bulging and he was drooling at the sight, he was extremely vigilant in his heart. This was a gorgeous woman who dared to fight with the enemy while wearing a long dress. If she was a weakling, she would have died long ago. The most important thing was that when she landed, the skinny man and the old man immediately distanced themselves from her. Even the brute force giant hurriedly took 2 big steps forward, pretending to get closer to Yu Yang and Princess Sisai. In fact, he was distancing himself from this terrifying woman who was lightly kissing her phoenix fairy nails and smiling alluringly. Yu Yang also felt that she might not be the strongest, but she was definitely the scariest among the 5. If he took a punch from the giant, he might only be heavily injured, but if he took a claw from this woman, he would definitely die. This battle was 5 against 3, and the enemy had the upper hand. Yu Yang realized that the enemy's combination was simply perfect. Among the 5 of them, there were 2 enhancement type rankers. One was strength type, and the other was agility type. One was the main attacker, and one was the sneak attacker. This was already enough to deal enough damage. In addition, there was the element type luminous demon Ding Zhang's hellfire. As for the old man, his skills were profound. Just by looking at the long emerald green fishing rod, one could tell that his battle skills were extraordinary. He coordinated and commanded from the center, and the four of them worked together as one. Lastly, there's the most deadly, gorgeous woman. She looked like a slut on the surface, but she was actually as venomous as a snake or scorpion. City Mistress Fallen Flowers, Princess Sisai, and this student titan who has intentionally concealed his real identity. Today, I am very honored to introduce you to our demonic palace companions. The luminous demon Ding Zhang's sharp voice rang out. You are all the most promising youngsters. The 10 great sky demons have ordered that we must obtain you at all costs, even if it's just a corpse. Today, we have risked our entire army to invite you to join our demonic palace with great sincerity. Although the name of our demonic palace is not very pleasant to the ears, other than that, we are actually the most outstanding, freest, and even the happiest warriors in the world. As long as you join us, you will experience a whole new and exciting world. You will never be able to know more secrets in the rigid soaring dragon continent, because those old fellows keep saying that they will tell you in the future and that you will understand once you reach that realm. They will never tell you the truth. But we are completely different. Our strongest rankers will pass on important information to their subordinates every year, allowing everyone to improve quickly. The Falling Kang Mountain is not a place of demons and depravity like you have imagined, but a paradise of happiness, a world of bliss. Well said. Yu Yang casually clapped his hands twice and yawned again. It's just that it's a little too long. Princess Sisai kept staring at the chest of that gorgeous woman. It was obvious that she was a little jealous of that pair of blood-curdling breasts. City Mistress Fallen Flowers did not even raise her head. She only quietly and gently plucked the starlight serene indigo grass, as if the starlight serene indigo grass would hurt if she used even the slightest bit of strength. She lovingly placed each stalk of starlight, serene indigo grass into the jade box. Even the flower buds that had not bloomed were no exception. When the war breaks out later, even if she did not pluck them, these starlight, serene indigo grass would not be able to escape. It was precisely because they were destined to be extinct that City Mistress Fallen Flowers was so sorrowful. Towards Yu Yang's sarcasm, the luminous demon Ding Zhang was not angry. He pointed at the 3-meter-tall giant and introduced. Our demonic palace's Hercules is known for his brute strength, Xingming. He once smashed the skull of a battle Kodo beast with his bare hands, twisted the tusks of a mammoth, killed a giant iron-skinned crocodile, headbutted an iron-horn wild bull, and tore apart a bronze-bodied forest boa. He is currently ranked 38th in the demonic palace, and is known as the mountain-breaking demon. Yu Yang nodded and clapped his hands. Not bad. He's made for hard labor. The 3-meter-tall giant Xingming's expression changed greatly when he heard this, his eyes almost spitting fire. The luminous demon Ding Zhang turned a deaf ear to Yu Yang's words and introduced himself. This is Gu Zhui. If you think that his rank in the demonic palace's 30th is not high enough, you can go and take a look at the Soaring Dragon Continent's assassin ranking. There are a total of 10 people with a bounty of 1,000 gold in the vengeance hunt. Among them, the one who is ranked first in the blood ranking is our Gu Zhui. Following the luminous demon Ding Zhang's introduction, that strangely tall, masked, skinny man gracefully bowed towards Princess Sisai. I am interested in hunting down the princess. Please forgive me for offending your highness later. Hey. Princess Sisai's character was really unyielding. Her reply was a cold and arrogant pay. Thank you, princess. That masked skinny man called Gu Zhui smiled sinisterly. The bloodthirsty, evil glint in his eyes flourished, but he had been suppressing it, as if he was waiting for the best opportunity to explode. The luminous demon Ding Zhang introduced the old man wearing a bamboo hat and holding a fishing pole. He smiled respectfully and said, Ranked 26th in the demonic palace, Duke Xian, who was known by everyone 100 years ago, had a battle record of 3,681 victories in his life. This record is something that we, the younger generation, cannot look forward to. The number of warriors who died in the hands of Duke Xian is innumerable, even a few kings. If I remember correctly, two of Princess Sisai's uncles, the extraordinarily intelligent Prince Xian and Prince Yi, had also died in the hands of Duke Xian. These are all small matters of the past. It's not worth mentioning. The old man wearing a bamboo hat and holding a fishing pole smiled complacently. Old man, don't be too arrogant, because no matter if it's your name or your appearance, it's really asking for a beating. Yu Yang couldn't stand it at all. It's fine if this old man didn't hide away and retire, but he was still so arrogant. How could the younger generation live like this? Aren't you going to introduce me to this little handsome guy? That incomparably flirtatious, big-breasted girl threw an electrifying glance at Yu Yang. When the luminous demon Ding Zong heard this, he actually nervously wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He nodded and said, "Who doesn't know our impatience, cough? Your beauty is world-renowned after talking for so long. You still can't get to the point." That flirtatious, big-breasted girl blinked her electrifying eyes at Yu Yang. "Little handsome guy, my name is Feng Xian. I don't look that good, and can't be compared to the little princess beside you. However, my service skills are still sloppy. Let's try it out when we're free, then you'll know how good I am. Little sweetheart, don't worry. You're so handsome, I can't bear to hit you. If I were to hurt your face even a little, my heart would ache to death. Why don't you listen to my advice and bring your little princess over to our side? Isn't it good for everyone to be happy together? I hate fighting and killing the most." As the flirtatious girl said this, she used her pink tongue to lick her sexy lips. Her gaze was soul-stirring, and her power was limitless. As she spoke, she twisted her demonic body that made people want to vomit blood. Her shockingly large breasts bounced up and down, causing Yu Yang's eyeballs to almost pop out. Princess Sisai was very angry when she saw this lad's useless look. She didn't reach out to pinch him like a normal girl, but in a very unique way, she reached out and slapped Yu Yang's buttocks hard, rewarding him with a heavy slap. She then snorted coldly. "Wipe your saliva. That girl is a little sky demon, one of the 8 little sky demons other than the 10 major sky demons. These 4 fellows added together can't even compare to her. It's said that she has sucked more than 1,000 men dry. If you want to die, go over and let her suffocate you with her big breasts. It can't be. She's really a little sky demon? How was a little sky demon judged? Based on her 3 sizes?" When Yu Yang heard this, he was stunned. No one in the entire demonic palace dares to challenge the little sky demon. Only when more than half of the 10 major sky demons agree can one be promoted to a little sky demon. The number of people this which has killed is more than the number of ants you have stepped on. Do you think she's the weakest? She's just hiding it well, stupid. Princess Sisai gave Yu Yang a crash course of knowledge in time. Not bad. Yu Yang realized that he couldn't see through the witch's true strength with his level 3 divine vision. He had actually been deceived by her fake strength. He was greatly shocked. Fortunately, he used his level 3 divine vision to observe carefully and discovered this girl's weakness. His lips curled into a smile again. This woman was extremely hard to fight. He couldn't see through her strength, but she was probably very close to the Marquis of Zijin after he fought with Grandma Qi, however. If he could grasp that weakness, he should be able to put up a fight. At this moment, Yu Yang was glad that he had the divine vision inherent skill. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died in this battle. "Little handsome brother, were your eyes looking at me? So annoying. I'm not that strong. I'm only ranked 55th in the demonic palace. I'm so much weaker than the 4 of them. When we fight later, little handsome brother, you have to be lenient with me. Don't touch the places on my body that you shouldn't touch." The flirtatious Feng Xian twisted her slender waist, her huge breasts trembling as if they were about to burst out of her clothes. Yu Yang couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva when he saw this. This reaction made her laugh uncontrollably. The pair of huge breasts on her chest shook even more violently, causing people who saw it to have a nosebleed violently. Let's stop talking about love. Princess Sisai raised her huge sword and shouted, "If you've identified your opponent, then let's fight." "I haven't identified my opponent yet." Yu Yang realized that all of his enemies were extremely strong. It'd be hard for him to fight any one of them. Even if you haven't identified your opponent, you still have to fight. How much time do you think the enemy will give you? The reason why they didn't attack when they came in was because they were cautiously checking to see if we had set up an ambush. Now that they have discovered that we haven't, they will immediately attack us. Before Princess Sisai could finish her words, the giant Xing Ming had already pounced towards them with an unstoppable force. He raised his huge wolf fawn gloves and smashed it towards Yu Yang's face like a thunderbolt. Chapter 175. Facing giant Xing Ming's heavy punch, Yu Yang could not dodge. Behind him was Princess Sisai. If he dodged and let her take the punch, even if she was fine, she would probably hate him for the rest of her life. Yu Yang could not dodge, but he was not stupid enough to fight against a 3-meter-tall giant whose arms were thicker than his entire body. He first kicked Princess Sisai's perky little butt, sending her flying. He then borrowed the momentum to bounce up and turn his body in midair, cleverly dodging the heavy punch, and at the same time kicked giant Xing Ming's face. Yu Yang's kick, with the support of the giant shadow, was powerful enough to break a bison's neck. However, giant Xing Ming, who was hit in the face, was completely fine. Instead of retreating, he moved forward, waving his giant wolf teeth gloves, intending to smash Yu Yang's small body. Roar! Speaking of strength, giant Xing Ming's terrifying brute force was indeed above Yu Yang's. If Yu Yang did not have the support of the giant shadow, he probably would not even be a match for one of giant Xing Ming's fingers. As for his defense, giant Xing Ming's thick skin was comparable to a giant mammoth. Yu Yang had never seen an enemy completely ignore his full-strength kick. However, according to Stephen Chow's movie, in the world of martial arts, there's nothing that cannot be broken. Only speed cannot be broken. Fighting was not something that could be awesome just by having strength and thick skin. Real combat skills did not mainly rely on the toughness and strength of the fist, but reaction, technique, and speed. If one were to compare reaction, technique, and speed, Yu Yang could beat up giant Xing Ming while teasing the little girl. And in between, he could even find time to eat, take a bath, change his clothes, and so on. When giant Xing Ming threw out a thunderous punch, Yu Yang would be able to dodge it and return 10 kicks, or even more. If the enemy was only the giant Xing Ming, then he would be a tragic figure that would be beaten to death. Giant Xing Ming's might could only be displayed to its fullest under the cooperation of the skinny Gu Zhui and Duke Xian. The skinny Gu Zhui summoned a human-shaped skeleton with a pair of bone wings on its back and wrapped himself in the skeleton's bones. Faster than lightning, he appeared behind Yu Yang in a flash. The bone wings on its back were like the tail of a poisonous scorpion, stabbing towards Yu Yang's back. His hands were ready to strike. Get lost! Princess Sisai had already rushed back to help. Her giant sword was launched later, but arrived first, chopping towards the back of the skinny Gu Zhui's head, intending to split him into 2 halves. Duke Xian rushed over and waved his emerald green fishing rod. There seemed to be hundreds and thousands of spears dancing in the air, and the shadows of the spears were like a forest. The space seemed to have been pierced through, emitting a hissing sound. When Yu Yang saw this, he immediately jumped up from giant Xing Ming's face. He spun his body and dodged Gu Zhui's fatal stab. Facing Princess Qian's sword, he slid down like a swimming fish. Opening his arms, he hugged Princess Qian and pounced towards the ground, bringing Princess Qian along as they escaped from a battle. Although they fell into the pool in a sorry state, the 2 of them managed to escape the battlefield unscathed under the pincer attack of 3 people. Is this the Yu clan's spear technique? Princess Sisai was shocked by the Yu clan spear technique that Duke Xian used with his emerald green fishing rod. It was so hard back then. I only managed to get this information from a Yu clan's disciple who could take a beating. If I remember correctly, his name was Yuguan. The Yuguan that Duke Xian mentioned was actually Elder Yu Hai's uncle. Yuguan was originally a genius warrior that the Yu clan had placed their hopes on. However, he went missing during a meeting and was never heard from again. The Yu clan suspected that he was killed by his enemies and pursued him for 10 years, but they could not find the murderer. They did not know that he was actually plotted against by the demonic palace's Duke Xian. Yu Yang realized that this Duke Xian was not only proficient in the Yu clan spear technique, his true strength was still deeply hidden. Could it be that this old fellow knew a battle technique that was even more profound than the Yu clan spear technique? To be able to use a light fishing rod to execute a spear technique battle technique, his skills were indeed terrifying. Yu Yang turned his head to look and discovered that the rock that Princess Sisai was originally standing on had a row of small holes. These were the effects of Duke Xian's spear wind. The spear wind was already so terrifying. If that gold-ranked treasure emerald green fishing rod pierced her body, she would probably die miserably. When Yang thought of this, his eyebrows twitched slightly. The change in his expression was noticed by Princess Sisai. She stretched out her small hand and lightly wrote a word on his back. Understood. Yu Yang knew that both sides were just probing each other at the beginning. The following battle would be the real battle to the death. City Mistress Fallen Flowers had already finished harvesting the starlight, serene indigo grass, and started to condense aurora. If they could leave, City Mistress Fallen Flowers would have already called Yu Yang and Princess Sisai into her barrier and teleported away. The problem was that there was a black pillar of light floating in the air above the cave. The entire space was disrupted and teleportation was impossible. If they wanted to leave this place, they could only fight to the death. The winner could leave, while the loser would stay in this cave forever. Not only did Yu Yang, Princess Qian Qian and Luo Hua City Mistress have a serious look on their faces. Even the giant Xing Meng, the skinny Gu Zhui, the old man Duke Xian, and the luminous demon Ding Zong didn't dare to underestimate the enemy. This was because in the probing just now, they did not manage to gain any advantage at all. These three youngsters were definitely not easy to deal with. The only one who still had a smile on her face was the beautiful Phoenix Fairy Beauty who was swaying her breasts. She was currently sitting on a horizontal rock in the middle of the cave, extremely elegant. One of her small hands was holding a custom-made high heel, and her delicate, smooth and white feet were bare. She looked at the situation below while leisurely swinging her feet, a smile on her face. Tenfold muscle strengthening. Giant Xing Meng roared. A cloud of black smoke was spat out from his mouth. It transformed into a black minotaur and fused with Giant Xing Meng. In an instant, the muscles on Giant Xing Meng's body quickly changed shape. They bulged explosively and stacked on top of each other. On the surface of his skin, a layer of black, iron-like metallic light appeared. After strengthening, his strength and skin's defense would increase by more than tenfold. With just one strike, he could break mountains and split rocks. This was also the reason why he was called Mountain Demon Breaker. Gu Zhui did not summon anymore. He only used his feet to make a strange dance. Those who were familiar with Gu Zhui would know that this was his dance of death. The faster he danced, the higher his speed would increase. Under Gu Zhui's strange dance, his afterimage split into two, then from 2 to 4. In the end, the afterimages became more and more numerous, as if there were more than 10 Gu Zhui dancing on the surface of the rock at the same time. Duke Xian summoned a shrimp-like beast and gently led it onto the fishing hook. Yu Yang's eyes turned cold when he saw this. This seemingly harmless shrimp was the most fatal one. He remembered that among the 10 great ferocious beasts in the Beast Encyclopedia, there was a shrimp that Yu Yang did not expect. This deep-sea crossbow shrimp size was not big, but the water arrows it shot could easily pierce through 3 mammoths lined up side by side. At the same time, it could produce a high temperature of 3,000 degrees due to friction. In the deep sea, it could easily kill a king cuttlefish. Yu Yang could not confirm whether the shrimp was a deep-sea crossbow shrimp or not, but he would definitely not be careless. The luminous demon Ding Zong no longer shot his hellfire at Yu Yang. The opponent he chose was City Mistress Fallen Flowers. Hellfire. Against City Mistress Fallen Flowers, he was slightly passive. This was because Yu Yang was unable to attack her as she was inside the protective shield. On the other hand, Luo Hua City Mistress could attack without restraint. The target of her Aurora Light was the Phoenix Fairy Beauty who was sitting on top of the rock. The luminous demon Ding Zong was forced to protect Impatience, and he had to use 2 waves of Hellfire to defend against the opponent's Aurora. Fortunately, City Mistress Fallen Flowers' Aurora was much slower than his. The Pillar of Light was incomparably blazing. It pierced through the air and shot straight towards the enchanting Impatience. Impatience acted as if she did not see anything and turned a deaf ear to it. On the other hand, the luminous demon Ding Zong continuously waved his big sleeves and sent out 2 waves of Hellfire towards the Aurora. Boom! After the Aurora and Hellfire collided, there was a huge explosion that was deafening. The whole mountain shook and rocks fell down. The huge explosion in the cave, as well as the echoes, caused everyone's eardrums to feel a piercing pain, as if their heads had been hit by a stick. The heat wave from the explosion of Hellfire and the arrow of light formed before the dissipation of the Aurora rushed towards Xingming, Yu Yang, and the others who were on the ground. At the moment of the huge explosion, everyone moved at the same time. Princess Sisai leapt up high and slashed down towards Giant Xingming. When Giant Xingming was about to receive the attack, and Gu Zhui was about to launch a sneak attack, Yu Yang grabbed her left leg, and with a flick, he skillfully threw her behind Duke Xian. With a reverse slash, Princess Sisai slashed Duke Xian into 2. Duke Xian's afterimage disappeared, and his real body appeared behind Yu Yang. He laughed sinisterly. Too slow. He let go of the curved emerald-green fishing rod in his hand, and like a soft whip, it lashed at Yu Yang's waist. When Yu Yang lost control and fell towards the ground, Giant Xingming acted as if he had already practiced it thousands of times. He swung his fist in unison and coincidentally hit Yu Yang's head, causing Yu Yang's entire body to fly out like a cannonball. Yu Yang was still flying in midair when Duke Xian waved the fishing rod in his hand, and a long fishing line shot out like lightning. The little shrimp that was attached to the fishing hook suddenly became bigger and shot out a strange water column. The water column pierced through Yu Yang's body with immense power and even shot out a transparent hole on the mountain wall with a pa sound. The mountain wall that separated the cave from the outside was at least 10 meters thick, but this water column was able to pierce through it in one shot. If this kind of terrifying shooting power were to hit Yu Yang's body, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yu Yang, who had been attacked by his enemies in unison, fell into the pool of water with a loud bang and couldn't get up. Countless blossoms of blood could be seen spurting out. Princess Sisai wanted to rush over to help, but was forced to retreat step by the tens of bone all phantoms that were simultaneously stepping on the dance of death. She couldn't even protect herself now. Something strange. Although Duke Xian had killed Yu Yang in one move, there wasn't any joy on his face. Standing on a rock by the side of the pool, he looked down at the surface of the water, as if he was feeling extremely puzzled. In his heart, that cunning brat was the scariest opponent, and was even more of a headache than Princess Sisai. How could he be killed in one move? However, Giant Xingming was disdainful. If that pretty boy can still survive, unless he has an immortal body, then he's dead for sure. Ah, my eye, my eye. His right eye suddenly burst like a bubble, and blood splattered out, drenching Xingming's hand red. Duke Xian was shocked, and hurriedly used his emerald-green fishing rod to protect his body. At the same time, he looked around for the enemy. A voice as clear as a spring rang out from behind him, as if it was a friendly greeting from a good friend. "Old devil, are you looking for me?" Duke Xian turned around and saw that Yu Yang's upper body was bare, and his smile was as bright as the sun. He slowly extended his hand towards him, and in his hand was a gold-ranked dragon-slaying dagger. Duke Xian wanted to quickly retreat, bounce away, and avoid this stab, but he found that his body was as heavy as a rock, and he couldn't move at all. He wanted to raise his fishing rod again and use Yu Yang's spear technique and pierce dozens of bloody holes on his opponent's body. But his hands were like cast iron, and no matter how anxious he was, he couldn't move an inch. It was as if there was an invisible rope that was tightly binding him. Duke Wei was terrified. No one could take advantage of me. You are no exception. This is what I'm returning to you. That's right, there's still interest. Yu Yang stabbed the gold-ranked dagger into Duke Xian's back, and with a twist, he pulled out the dragon-slaying dagger. At the same time, he swiped his hand across Duke Xian's neck, cleanly cutting off his trachea and carotid artery. Blood soared to the sky. Chapter 176. By the time Gu Zhui attacked, Yu Yang had already disappeared without a trace. Duke Xian fell on a rock in pain, fresh blood splattering from his chest and neck. Different from Xing Meng, who quickly stopped his bleeding and recovered his strength, Duke Xian's legs twitched as if he had died in an instant. This time, it was Princess Sisai's turn to frown. This old fellow seems to be pretending to be dead. Your trick just now failed. How was it? How did you get beaten up? Yu Yang appeared behind her in a flash. He shook his head, indicating that he was fine. In reality, his waist was lacerated. There is a deep wound on his waist, almost to the point that his bones could be seen. There is a shadow on this brat's body that everyone can't see. It should be a guardian beast. Other than secretly attacking Xing Meng's eyes, it can also grab Duke Xian's hands and feet. It can even replace its master to block attacks. Everyone, be careful. Gu Zhui immediately realized that something was wrong and reminded his companions. Aurora, City Mistress Fallen Flowers shot a destructive aurora towards Duke Xian's corpse from the high cliff. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The aurora destroyed all the rocks around the pool. A large area of the rocky ground caved in with a loud rumble. Water flowed in and formed a new pool. After the aurora disappeared, there was a shadow standing at the edge of the pool. Green head, golden back, black tail. There was a humanoid old turtle standing there. Duke Xian's voice came out from his hawk-like mouth. It's been a long time since I revealed my original body. Youngsters nowadays really can't be underestimated. All right, in order to repay you and to quell the anger in my heart, I have decided to torture the three of you to death, then eat you alive. 1,000-year green hat turtle. Yu Yang cried out involuntarily. After fighting for so long, this guy wasn't even human. I want to ask, if we die, will you still be able to recognize me in your next life? Princess Sisai reached out her hand and gently wiped the blood from the corner of Yu Yang's mouth. She changed her tigress look and asked gently, if you are still a great beauty, I guarantee that I will be able to recognize you with one look. Yu Yang nodded with absolute certainty. What if it's an ugly woman? Princess Sisai asked. Even if I know him, I'll pretend that I don't. Yu Yang said honestly. Before he could finish, he was punched by Princess Sisai. All of you will not have a next life, because Duke Xian has the soul-absorbing pearl. All of you will be imprisoned in the soul-absorbing pearl forever, until your souls are destroyed. The luminous demon Ding Zong laughed sinisterly. These little thieves are easy to deal with. I can get rid of them with one hand. You guys go, I'll send you out. Yu Yang stretched out his hand and lifted Princess Qian up and threw her towards the hole in the ceiling with all his might. At the same time, he raised his Huiji magic blade and slashed at Gu Zhui, who was rushing towards him. His legs rotated like a windmill and kicked Xing Meng's injured eye, forcing the two of them to retreat. Duke Xian, who had a human head and a tortoise body, appeared behind Yu Yang at an extremely fast speed and sent Yu Yang flying with a claw. Yu Yang flipped his body in midair, stepped on a rock, and flew up. A black shadow flashed in the sky, and Duke Xian appeared again. His long iron tail whipped Yu Yang away. Gu Zhui seized the opportunity and shot out a bone spike, piercing deeply into Yu Yang's left shoulder and nailing him to the rock. When Xing Meng's heavy fist came crashing down, Yu Yang disappeared. He appeared within City Mistress Fallen Flowers' protective shield and lifted up City Mistress Fallen Flowers' fragrant body with both hands. Idiot, I'm not leaving. I'm not a strengthening type warrior like Princess Sisai. I can't escape. Let go, I want to stay and fight alongside you. City Mistress Fallen Flower screamed. I'm a man. I have the final say. Yu Yang used all his strength to throw City Mistress Fallen Flowers into the Heaven's Line cave. City Mistress Fallen Flowers' body was involuntarily thrown onto the topmost rock. She still wanted to jump down, but she didn't expect Princess Sisai to jump back and hug City Mistress Fallen Flowers' waist. She looked deeply at Yu Yang with her tiger-like eyes, gritted her teeth, and jumped out of the Heaven's Line cave. In the cave, only Yu Yang was left. He had to face 5 enemies alone. Do you know why we didn't stop them from leaving? The luminous demon Ding Zong laughed out loud. Because we still have people outside. From the top of the cave, rumbling sounds could be heard. Terrifying wolf howls and women's tender shouts could be heard one after another. The loud sounds of battle traveled to the cave below, echoing for a long time. The luminous demon Ding Zong stretched out a finger and nodded at Yu Yang in an extremely serious manner. You don't know how much importance the 10 great sky demons have placed on you. In order to hunt you down, they have not only sent out large amounts of bait to attract the attention of Xia and Tian Luo, they even sent out a little sky demon for earth demons and 5 human demons, a total of 10 people. They led us, this powerful formation that we have never seen before, come and annihilate you. You are our first target. If you don't surrender, you must die. As for Princess Sisai and City Mistress Fallen Flowers, under the combined attacks of the 4 human demons, I believe they won't be able to hold on for long. By the way, let me tell you something, the demonic palace has placed too much importance on you, including your 2-headed demon wolf and City Mistress Fallen Flowers' 3-tailed snow fox. We have specially sent a human demon to hunt them down. You will definitely not have the chance to escape. From today onwards, all traces of you will disappear from the world, forever disappearing from the memories of the world. Yu Yang raised his eyebrows, his expression abnormally serious and serious. You want my life? Then take out a sufficient price to exchange for it. Duke Xian, who had a human head and a tortoise body, opened and closed his eagle-like mouth and laughed coldly. Junior, you have no chance. Just this old man alone can kill you 100 times over. Xing Ming, who had one of his eyes blinded by Yu Yang, pounced forward crazily, waving his fists and smashing randomly. Until now, he still didn't understand how Yu Yang had silently shattered his eyeball. Actually, it wasn't just him, everyone else didn't understand, including the impatiens who was sitting on a rock. She also frowned. She couldn't see clearly, but the moment when Yu Yang was hit by Xing Ming, this brat must have done something. However, she couldn't see how he did it. Not only was he fine after being hit by Xing Ming, he even blinded Xing Ming's eye. This was too strange. He raised his Hui Ji magic blade. Under Yu Yang's control, the spiraling, spherical beheader turned into layers of blade towers, cutting through the surrounding space. Xing Ming raised his huge wolf fawn gloves to block. Sparks flew everywhere. At first, he could still use brute force to block, but Yu Yang's hands rotated like a river wheel, causing Xing Ming's arms to rotate to the left and right. The Hui Jin magic blade slashed wildly, and Xing Ming cried out in pain. However, his defense was extremely strong, and he could only feel pain without being injured. Instead, he hugged Yu Yang, using his iron head to fight against Yu Yang. I'll let you be awesome. Yu Yang was even crazier than Xing Ming. His fist had already rained down on Xing Ming's head and face, especially on his injured eyes. Yu Yang's elbows and knees followed up with a series of punches. Finally, he crazily smashed his head into Xing Ming's face, making a loud bang. Duke Xian, Gu Zhuai, and the luminous demon Ding Zong were dumbfounded. This was the first time they had seen someone fight against Xing Ming head-on. What a lunatic! Even someone as strong as Xing Ming was forced to retreat step by Yu Yang. When Yu Yang sat cross-legged and locked onto Xing Ming's throat, lifting his head with both hands, Duke Xian, Gu Zhuai, and Ding Zong could hear Xing Ming's neck bones cracking, as if they were about to break. Roar! Xing Ming waved his huge arms, exerting strength again and again. Finally, he managed to pull Yu Yang, who had almost broken his neck bones. He breathed in painfully. Then, he used his brute force and smashed Yu Yang heavily onto the rock surface. He raised his huge legs up high, preparing to stomp Yu Yang into meat paste. A roar that was even louder than Xing Meng's exploded. Roar. Yu Yang was like a demonic god. Both his hands grabbed onto Xing Meng's calves and used his strength to raise Xing Meng into the air before smashing him heavily onto the ground. Yu Yang's actions were as if he was holding onto a sack filled with cotton. He raised Xing Meng, who was many times larger than his body, and smashed him wildly, causing the rocks to explode and debris to fly everywhere. In the end, he still felt that it was not enough. He smashed Xing Meng onto the rock wall, causing the cave to shake and almost collapse. Duke Xian, Gu Zhui, and Ding Zong were dumbfounded. This was the first time they had seen Xing Meng being beaten so badly. Xing Meng's brute force was invincible. How was this possible? Could it be that this brat's strength was even greater than Xing Meng's? Bastard, I can't move, and you guys aren't coming to help. Xing Meng painfully struggled out of the broken rock wall. He shook his dizzy head and loudly complained about his companion's inaction. This brat has the ability to temporarily lock onto other people's movements. Duke Xian immediately became alert. He had suffered from this before. It was not that Xing Meng's strength was inferior. It was just that his movements were locked, and he was unable to struggle. That was why he was beaten up so badly by his opponent. Hearing that Yu Yang's final trump card had been exposed by his companions, the masked Gu Zhui's eyes revealed a hint of killing intent. It was time to act. He stepped on the dance of death and transformed into dozens of afterimages. Their movements were different as they encircled Yu Yang. In comparison, Duke Xian's attack was more direct. The gigantic shell of the golden tortoise directly smashed onto the top of Yu Yang's head. The afterimages of Yu Yang disappeared with a whoosh and appeared on top of the broken rocks. With a heavy blow towards the air, rumble, a shadow was smashed into the ground by him. The afterimages that were attacking Yu Yang had all disappeared, and Gu Zhui's real body fell onto the ground with a bang. He can see through invisibility. Before Gu Zhui could finish screaming, Yu Yang had already pounced on his body. His body was tightly pressed against Gu Zhui's waist, and his hands twisted Gu Zhui's head backwards, intending to break his neck bones. At the same time, he snorted coldly and mercilessly. "If you answer correctly, I'll reward you with a dead head." The skeletal wing bones on Gu Zhui's back pierced onto Yu Yang's body like raindrops, and blood splattered everywhere. However, Yu Yang did not care about it. He only pressed Gu Zhui firmly and twisted Gu Zhui's head with both hands. That neck bones let out terrifying cracking sounds. Compared to Xing Meng, Gu Zhui's defense was much weaker. Moreover, he mainly relied on his speed to launch sneak attacks. Once he was entangled by Yu Yang, it was equivalent to exposing his biggest weakness to Yu Yang's demonic hands. If Yu Yang used Hui Ji Magic Blade or Dragon Slaying Dagger to attack him, Gu Zhui would not be afraid, because his bone armor could defend against blades and swords. However, Yu Yang chose the most direct method. Break his neck bones, twist off his head. He was not a 1,000-year-old tortoise like Duke Xian, but a human warrior. If his head was twisted off, it would definitely not grow back. Save me. Gu Zhui wanted to struggle, but he found that he could not even move a finger. Only his summoned beast, the fallen angel skeleton, defended against the twisting neck and used its bone wings to attack, hoping to force the enemy to retreat. Duke Xian waved his claws and struck heavily. His inner strength exploded like a mountain torrent, imprinting itself onto Yu Yang's back. Yu Yang's body suffered a thunderous blow, but his body was completely unharmed. However, on the contrary, it was Gu Zhui's mouth and nose that were spurting blood. The luminous demon Ding Zong hurriedly shouted, "This brat knows how to divert force, and can even disintegrate my hellfire. Duke Xian, you have to use external force to directly destroy his body." "Let me do it." Ming raised his huge fist and smashed it down like a meteor, hitting Yu Yang's back. His skin and flesh split open, and blood splattered everywhere. He then grabbed Gu Zhui and lifted him up in midair, smashing and hitting him randomly. He intended to knock Yu Yang unconscious and save Gu Zhui. After hundreds of deafening and crazy smashes, even Ming was so tired that he was panting. He threw away Gu Zhui and Yu Yang in his hands, feeling that Yu Yang was definitely dead and had definitely been smashed into pieces. Duke Xian and Ding Zong saw that the two of them had become a bloody mess and heaved a sigh of relief in their hearts. Only the impatience, who was sitting horizontally on the stone cliff, continued to frown. "Is he dead?" Ding Zong asked Ming. "He's definitely dead." When Ming said this, he actually did not have much confidence in his heart and was just being stubborn. Still not dead after this? What a joke! Under his brute force, even a giant mammoth would die. How could a young brat survive? Ming felt that even Gu Zhui, who had the protection of the fallen angel skeleton, could be smashed to death by him. "I can prove that Gu Zhui is dead, completely dead. As for me, it seems that I am still alive." Yu Yang, who was covered in blood, suddenly sat up. He raised Gu Zhui's head, which was bleeding from all 7 of its orifices, and handed it over to Ming. A devilish smile appeared on his face. "It's all thanks to your help. Otherwise, it would not have been so easy for me to break that brat's head. That brat's fallen angel skeleton can both attack and defend. I almost suffered a great loss." Ming did not know whether it was out of fear or anger, but his entire body was trembling. "Next, it's your turn." Yu Yang was covered in wounds, and there were bloody holes made by Gu Zhui all over his body. But he ignored them, stood up, and pointed at Duke Xian. "The second one to die is you. Brat, what right do you have?" Duke Xian stood proudly. Although he saw that Gu Zhui was killed by this brat, even when he was trying to save him, and his mind was in a mess, he still believed that he had trained for many years, and his skills were profound. Moreover, the defense of his tortoise shell was invincible, and he did not need to fear his opponent. He was not Gu Zhui, and he wanted to twist his head. As long as he retracted his head, all his moves would be useless. "Just because I'm younger than you, and I can take more hits than you." The bloodied Yu Yang walked in front of Duke Xian. He did not smile, but his eyes revealed an unusually cold smile. "Before you die, I'll tell you a big secret. Yu Guan is not the only one in the Yu clan who can take hits." Hearing this, Duke Xian's heavy claws struck towards Yu Yang's chest. Yu Yang turned around agilely and threw Duke Xian into the pool with a suave shoulder throw that stunned Ding Zong and Ming. Then, he jumped into the water and chased after Duke Xian. The luminous demon Ding Zong was overjoyed. This brat is looking for death. He wants to compete with Duke Xian in water. In the demonic palace, Duke Xian is the strongest in water battles, other than Lord Sky Dragon. No one can compare to him. This brat is dead for sure. Ming saw that the water in the pool seemed to be boiling, and blood continuously floated up. He really wanted to go down and help Duke Xian. But he thought to himself that he was not proficient in water techniques, so going down would be asking for a beating. Raising his head again, he saw that the impatience was still calm and collected, and his heart calmed down. With this poison lady around, even if this brat could fly, he would not be able to escape from her grasp. After a few minutes, the terrifying muffled sounds in the water gradually quietened down. Ming and Ding Zong both saw Duke Xian's tortoise-like figure slowly floating up and simultaneously cried out in joy. Duke Xian lives up to his reputation as the #1 in water techniques. He is indeed powerful. The giant Ming was overjoyed and rushed to the side of the pool to welcome Duke Xian's return. Honestly speaking, he was already a little fearful of Yu Yang, this unkillable cockroach. He had never seen such a strange and crazy man like him. It was one thing to fight 3 against 5, but he was still sending 2 of his companions away, fighting 1 against 5. Thinking of how he had forcefully broken Gu Zhui's head under everyone's desperate rescue, Ming was a little unhappy. He hated people who had a stronger will to fight than him the most. Duke Xian's body emerged from the water with a whoosh. Xing Ming stretched out his hand to stop him and pulled Duke Xian's entire body onto the shore. Just as he was about to say a few words of flattery, he suddenly shouted in fear. Ding Zhang's heart trembled, and he asked anxiously what happened. Duke Xian doesn't have a head. Xing Ming's face was full of fear. Why not? It's right here. Yu Yang slowly floated to the surface of the water and raised the green human head in his hand high up. He threw Duke Xian's head up, and with some difficulty, he climbed up the shore. I spent a lot of effort to fish it up. Don't tell me it's not there. That's right, I don't have much energy left. Which one of you wants to come up and dive first? Hearing this, Ding Zong and Xing Ming were so frightened that they swallowed a mouthful of saliva. They were so nervous that their throats were extremely bitter. It was only now that they understood why the 10 great sky demons, other than sending out 4 earth demons and 5 human demons, still felt that it was not enough and added a little sky demon at the last minute. So, this brat was really that abnormal. Chapter 177. Just by looking at the injuries on the surface, even if this brat had 10 lives, he would have died long ago. But he was still alive. The most terrifying thing was his eyes, which contained a kind of cold, killing intent. It was like a blade, like the Grim Reaper's scythe, and more like the devil's claws. Giant Xing Ming and Luminous Demon knew what to do. Should they join hands and kill him? Or should they wait for the little sky demon impatience to attack? Gu Zhui's head was broken by this brat in front of everyone's eyes. Duke Xian, this 1,000-year-old tortoise who killed people like scything flax, finally died in the water. How'd he die? No one knew how his head was cut off by this brat. This brat was full of mysteriousness, and no one could see through him. Among them, the one who felt this the most was Impatience. She had been observing her opponent calmly, and realized that this brat had been hiding his true strength. He seemed to have never thought of failure, and never placed his main enemies on Duke Xian, Gu Zhui, Xing Ming, and Ding Zong. It could be seen that the target he truly feared and wanted to kill was herself. He was willing to suffer injuries just to hide his true ultimate move. When a tragic howl came from outside the cave, Impatience's expression changed slightly. What's going on? Ding Zong and Xing Ming's expressions changed greatly. They were clear that this was not the voice of Princess Sisai or City Mistress Fallen Flowers. Instead, it sounded like a companion. Could it be that even 4 against 2 would fail? All 4 of their beasts were used to restrain Princess Sisai and City Mistress Fallen Flowers. How? How is this possible? The enchanting and beautiful Phoenix Fairy Beauty sighed slightly. She kissed her beautiful Phoenix Fairy nails lightly and blew softly. The hunting plan has failed. I agree to give up on the mission. Both of you can leave. Her words were like a bolt from the blue, shocking Ding Zong and Xing Ming until they were tongue-tied. The plan had failed? Give up on the mission? She had not attacked yet. If they gave up on the mission and returned, wouldn't the 10 great sky demons throw them into a wok and fry them? This brat had already reached the limit of his limits. Even if they did not attack, he would bleed to death. There would definitely be no problem if the 2 of them attacked together. Were they really going to give up on the mission now? Another miserable howl came from outside the cave. It was even clearer than the previous one. Furthermore, this voice was completely different from the previous one. This was another companion. Outside, Princess Sisai and Fallen Flowers fought 2 against 4. Not only did they win, they even managed to kill 4 human demons whose beasts countered each other so quickly. Ding Zong and Xing Ming both felt that today's events were incomparably bizarre. They were perplexed no matter how they thought about it. There were mysteries everywhere. Suddenly, the cave entrance of the heavens line became completely quiet. It was a deathly stillness, as if no one had ever fought above. The luminous demon Ding Zong and Xing Ming looked at each other, both secretly guessing if Princess Sisai and City Mistress Fallen Flowers had perished together with their 4 companions. A gust of cold air blew in soundlessly. The luminous demon Ding Zong and the giant Xing Ming could not help but shiver. Their bodies trembled, and their eyes revealed a look of fear. To be able to make them shiver from the cold, and in such a soundless manner, what kind of rancor would be able to do that? What kind of beast would be able to possess such power? Ding Zong and Xing Ming realized that frost had formed everywhere around them. The pool of water had also started to freeze, accumulating a thick layer of ice. When they spat out a mouthful of white air, the two of them realized that the entire cave had turned into a cave of ice and snow in less than a minute. This place had turned into a world of ice and snow. Impatience smiled charmingly, her gigantic breasts trembling as she giggled. So you guys still had a hidden expert. No wonder you were so calm. It's set in stone. Yu Yang corrected. What? Impatience was confused by Yu Yang's strange tone. You're not dead yet? At the top of the cave, Princess Sisai's voice came in. She was incomparably angry. Look at you. You only have one mouth left. You still want to flirt with women? Not only can I flirt with women, I can even consummate our marriage tonight. When Yu Yang heard Princess Sisai's voice, he lost control and fell to the ground. His four limbs stretched out as if he had fainted. Xing Ming was overjoyed. He leaped over and raised his fist, wanting to beat Yu Yang into meat paste. As for Princess Sisai, Xing Ming felt that Ding Zhang's hellfire could completely restrain her pure close combat, strengthening type rancor. Leave it to him. Just as the giant Xing Ming was about to make his move, suddenly, at the top of the heavens line, two black figures fell. They fell onto the rocks with a thud, breaking into countless pieces. One of the ball-like pieces rolled to Xing Ming's feet. Xing took a quick look and realized that it was the frozen head of his comrade, who had died with grievances. Those dead fish-like eyes stared straight at him. Just like Gu Zhui and Duke Xian, it was extremely disgusting and extremely terrifying. The luminous demon Ding Zong also looked at the broken piece in bewilderment. He recognized that it was the broken upper body of another comrade. Although it was already broken beyond recognition, he could still barely recognize that it was indeed his comrade. Now, Ding Zong could confirm that the four comrades outside had all died in battle. At least two of them had died under the ice. The opponents were not three, but four. There was also a mysterious expert who was proficient in ice. This was something that they had not anticipated before they set off. This expert's concealment ability was practically elusive. It seemed that no one, including the Impatiens, had discovered that this person had always been hiding outside. Now he understood. Why did this brat send Princess Sisai and City Lord Fallen Flowers out in such a hurry? That was to attract the attention of the four people who were lying in ambush outside. He had long known that there were people lying in ambush outside, so he would attract their attention instead. Then, he would let the hidden expert outside ambush the four people, cooperating with Princess Qian Qian and Luo Hua City Mistress to kill them. The four comrades outside had been completely annihilated. It was not that they were not strong enough, but they had been double-schemed by this brat and the hidden mysterious expert. Princess Sisai once again carried City Lord Fallen Flowers in from one-line heaven. Her silver armor was so broken that it was almost impossible to cover her body. Her body was drenched in blood, and her wounds were as many as Yu Yang's. Her thighs and shoulders were deeply pierced by broken blades. Ding Zong recognized that these were the weapons of the 100-Soldier Demon. The 100-Soldier Demon that specialized in countering City Lord Fallen Flowers was killed by Princess Sisai instead. As for the other beast, the 1,000-winged human demon that specialized in countering Princess Sisai's close combat, his mithril arrow had pierced through City Lord Fallen Flowers' chest. The 1,000-winged human demon let out a miserable howl before it died. It seemed that the heavily injured City Lord Fallen Flowers had used Aurora Light to kill it. As for the other two Wolf Soul Human Demon and Demon Spirit Human Demon, they had been frozen into two ice sculptures by the mysterious expert. They could not use their demon spirit telekinesis to interfere with City Lord Fallen Flowers' accumulation of spiritual energy to release Aurora Light, nor could they use their wolf soul to trap Princess Sisai. Their abilities could counter Princess Sisai and City Lord Fallen Flowers, but against the mysterious expert who specialized in freezing ice power, it was a tragedy. Ding Zhang's mind flashed as he thought about many things. He could almost imagine the battle between Princess Sisai and City Lord Fallen Flowers. Suddenly, Ding Zhang saw Impatience make a hand gesture. This was a hand gesture that only the strong warriors of the demonic palace who possessed summoning grimoires would know. That was the demonic escape. Without summoning grimoires, no matter how strong they were, the demonic palace would not nurture them to the last step. This was because no matter how strong they were, no matter how much potential they had, they would not be more valuable than those who possessed summoning grimoires. If they could not win, the demonic palace's 10 major sky demons would allow those who possessed summoning grimoires to retreat and conserve their strength. The luminous demon Ding Zhang knew that although he was not the strongest in the entire team, he was definitely the most important person in the entire team. This was because he was the only one who possessed summoning grimoires. The demonic escape was to quickly leave this place. This was the new mission that Impatience had secretly given to Ding Zhang. In the eyes of Giant Xingming, this hand gesture had another meaning. That meant that Impatience had decided to personally take action. Let's go. Ding Zhang knew that the mysterious expert was still waiting for him outside. It was impossible to escape alone, so he had to find a scapegoat. As expected, Giant Xingming immediately leapt up and left the battlefield to Impatience. He was one step ahead of Ding Zhang, leaping towards the entrance of the Heaven's Line Cave. Xingming was not an idiot. He felt that according to the habits of his opponents, no matter if it was that cunning brat or Princess Sisai, they would be more willing to intercept Ding Zhang. This was because killing Ding Zhang was the most valuable. As for himself, a strengthening-type beast, his strength and defense were extremely strong. Even if that brat and Princess Sisai were stupid, they would not take the initiative to intercept him. Really stupid. Ding Zhang secretly mocked. Ding Zhang had never thought that Yu Yang and Princess Sisai would chase after him. Even if the two of them still had battle power, they would save it for later to deal with Impatience. Xingming and Ding Zhang, one in front and one behind, leapt towards the Heaven's Line Cave. At the entrance of the cave, an ice storm suddenly erupted. Almost at the same time, Ding Zhang summoned his grimoire and raised his protective shield. He was safe and sound in the ice storm, but Xingming had turned into a lump of ice and crashed onto the ground. A shadow dressed as a thief looked at Ding Zhang with an ice-cold gaze. He gave up on attacking Ding Zhang and pounced towards the frozen Xingming like a storm. If he didn't have a summoning grimoire, Ding Zhang felt that he would definitely be dead. He had met an enemy whose attributes countered his. The opponent's ice storm, coupled with his terrifying speed, precise timing, and terrifying battle sense, was like a natural enemy to him. If he didn't have a summoning grimoire, he believed that the opponent's first target would be him. Ding Zhang wiped off his cold sweat. He looked down and saw that Impatience was making a gesture to leave. His heart calmed down, and he secretly swallowed his saliva. He hurriedly jumped out of the cave and ran out of the high cliff. With another leap, he flew towards the cliff. He summoned the wind-winged beast and successfully fused with it. A pair of giant wings grew on his back, and he glided down against the wind. Only now did he realize that he had really gotten his life back. As he floated down, Ding Zhang suddenly discovered a big black dog with wounds all over its body. It was talking to a small white fox. Its foreclaws dug deep into the rocks as it climbed up the cliff with difficulty, bit by bit. He was extremely shocked in his heart. A bad premonition flashed through his heart. Could it be that the 100-beast demon Lai Lai, who was guarding the bottom of the valley, couldn't even defeat a 2-headed demon wolf and a 3-tailed snow fox? That guy who could squeeze into the top 100 in the demonic palace was actually defeated by a wolf and a fox working together? What kind of beasts were these? Terrifying. Ding Zhang couldn't help but shiver. When he landed on a small platform, he immediately retracted his wings and took out a teleportation scroll. He opened it and escaped from this place. He didn't dare to stay here a moment longer. Ding Zong believed that if he stayed a moment longer, his life would be in danger. That brat was not only abnormal himself. Even his beasts were incomparably abnormal. Inside the cave, Princess Sisai placed the fainted city mistress of fallen flowers beside Yu Yang. She smiled at Yu Yang apologetically. Fallen Flowers' arrow was originally shot at me, but she insisted on blocking it for me. Luckily, it didn't hit her heart. Otherwise, her little life would be over. You guys rest for a while. Wait for me to kill her. Then I'll come back and treat your injuries. You summon your grimoire first. Without him, we can't win. Get him up immediately. The mysterious beauty didn't seem to have any injuries on the surface, but the black cloth covering her face was soaked with blood. It was obvious that her internal injuries were extremely serious. I've already said, without a guy, you guys can't do anything big. Yu Yang stood up shakily and took out the golden bell that he had gotten from the Ares temple and handed it to Princess Sisai. If you don't treat it, the blood will dry up. Do you know how to use this thing? Idiot, it can't be used. We need a suitable person's blood to unseal it. Princess Sisai could tell at a glance that this was a treasure that was sealed by curse. If it wasn't unsealed, it couldn't be used. What a pity, this is a treasure that can heal. The mysterious beauty flew over in a flash, and when she took it from Princess Qianqian's hands, a white light immediately spread out from the golden bell, as if it had a life of its own, and then an extremely strong white light shone, illuminating the entire cave. What's going on? Princess Sisai was puzzled. There was no reaction when she took it, but why did it shine when she took it? I don't know either. The mysterious beauty could only feel that the white light had greatly nourished her body. Her originally serious injuries were rapidly recovering. Impatience looked at the mysterious beauty. At first, she was shocked. Then, she revealed an expression as if she had seen a treasure. Her expression was one of ecstasy and regret. Her gaze was very complicated. Princess Sisai and Yu Yang's injuries were also improving. Their injuries that were bathed in the white light healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Within a minute, except for City Mistress Fallen Flowers, who was still unconscious due to the heavy arrow in her chest, Yu Yang, Princess Sisai, and the mysterious beauty's injuries had mostly recovered. The mysterious beauty coughed a few times. There were traces of blood that came from her lungs. Princess Sisai clenched her teeth and pulled out the broken blades from her shoulders and thighs, allowing the wounds to heal faster under the white light. Yu Yang originally wanted to pull out the mithril arrow, but the mysterious beauty reached out and stopped his reckless action. City Mistress Fallen Flowers' injuries were too serious, and the white light was about to disappear. If she couldn't heal in time, the white light of the golden bell gradually disappeared, turning into a dark gray bell. Yu Yang didn't have time to look at it. He stored it in his lich ring first. The three of us will take turns to attack. You'll be the main attacker. I'll support you. Qian, look after Fallen Flowers first. You'll attack when we're in danger. You're a strengthening type beast anyway. Summon your grimoire first and rest for a while. The mysterious beauty gave Yu Yang the task of being the main attacker. She's a minor sky demon, and her hands are poisonous. You'll die if you touch them, and you want me to be the main attacker? Yu Yang didn't seem very satisfied with this assignment. I suspect that she's not a minor sky demon at all. She might be a sky demon pretending to be weak. The mysterious beauty was even more daring than Yu Yang. Why don't you suspect that I'm one of the three great sky demons of the falling Kang Mountain sky law? Impatience smiled slightly. Her words were like a bolt from the blue. It exploded in the eardrums of Yu Yang, the mysterious beauty, and Princess Sisai, shocking them. Chapter 178. Sky Law. Sky Law was one of the three most famous rankers in the demonic palace of the falling Kang Mountain. Together with Sky Execution and Sky Wrath, they were known as the three great sky demons. It was said that Sky Law was a female. She was ranked second among the 10 great sky demons, and her strength was second only to the strongest ranker of the demonic palace, Sky Execution. Sky Law was an existence comparable to the Heavenly Imperial Guardians. If a level 6 Elder or below were to encounter her, they would only be killed instantly. Right now, Yu Yong, Princess Sisai, and the others were covered in injuries. How could they fight against such a terrifyingly strong Great Sky Demon with their weary army? Yu Yong felt his heart sink. He had felt that something was wrong from the start. Even the old fox could not deceive him, but this little sky demon impatience could. Logically speaking, she could not be stronger than the old fox, unless she was really Sky Law. The mysterious beauty reacted and immediately shook her head. Impossible, you can't be Sky Law. All the rancors in the world have an agreement that forbids them from killing each other's descendants with potential. If you are Sky Law, and you kill us, then the Heavenly Imperial Guardians of the 3 countries and the rancors of the 4 major sects will all come to your falling Kang Mountain and destroy your demonic palace. If you're Sky Law, you would not join the hunt for us. We are just juniors. You should be fighting with the rancors of the Demon Abyss in the 7th or 8th floor of Tong Tian Tower. Why would you come here to hunt us? Feng Xia might be your fake name, but I dare say that you are definitely not Sky Law. The enchanting impatience giggled. Don't be nervous. Even if I am not Sky Law, I am the little sky demon Feng Xian. You are not my opponent. Princess Sisai's expression became slightly better after hearing this. Heavens! If she was really one of the 3 great sky demons, Sky Law, then there was no need to fight this battle. Only Yu Yong, at this moment, still maintained the suspicion in his heart. I want to ask, why didn't you summon your beasts? Are you afraid that I'll see through your trump card? Impatience smiled at Yu Yong. Her voice was as sweet as if she was acting coquettishly with her lover. But the sweeter she smiled, the more fierce the cold sweat on Yu Yang's forehead became. From the start of the battle until now, Yu Yong would rather be injured than summon a single beast. It was because there was an indescribable fear in his heart that this impatience would see through his secrets. No matter if it was the fusion of the Bloody Queen and the Shadow, or the reconstruction of the barbarian Cow Shadow, or the existence of the serpent demon Little One Li, they were all secrets. If he was seen through by the enemy, then even if he won this battle, he believed that he would attract endless enemies. 3 guardian beasts, life force sharing, skill sharing, these were all things that people could not hope for. As long as the impatiens made this public, or reported it to the demonic palace, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yu Yong did not have the confidence to kill the impatiens, who was at least at the level of a little sky demon. If he wanted to defeat her, he had to take advantage of her weakness. If she was really Sky Law, and that weakness was purposely exposed by her to lure the enemy, then he would die a horrible death. After killing Gu Jue, Yu Yong secretly observed this impatience and found that she was completely indifferent. She looked as if he had stepped on an ant in her house. Then, she killed the strongest person in the team, Duke Xian. She hid in the water and used her innate sword chi to cut off Duke Xian's head. However, this impatience remained calm until Princess Sisai, City Mistress Fallen Flowers, and the mysterious beauty joined forces to kill the 4 people outside. Only then did she slightly change her expression. Whether she was Sky Law or not, this woman was definitely not easy to deal with. Hopefully, her disguise was only the ability of her beasts and not her own control over her aura. Yu Yong would never summon Little One Li out, even if he was beaten to death. Little One Li was his biggest secret weapon. No matter what, he could not let such a strong enemy know. If he could not defeat her, Yu Yong guessed that this impatience would take him and Princess Sisai as captives to the demonic palace at Falling Kang Mountain. At worst, he would wait for the heavenly imperial guardians of the 3 kingdoms, Grandma Wu Tong and the old fox, to come and rescue them. His real trump card could only be revealed to 2 kinds of people. One was people who would never betray him and would keep his secret, and the other was dead people. Even if he would never betray his family, he could not let them know easily because it would not be beneficial to them. I heard that when you're angry, your power can increase by several times, even 10 times. Come, use your greatest strength to attack me. The enchanting and beautiful impatience stretched out her slender lily-white hands towards Yu Yang. Her fingernails, which had been smeared with immortal juice, pointed towards Yu Yang. Her 5 fingers closed slightly, and Yu Yang actually flew towards her involuntarily. Yu Yang spun in midair and raised his Hui Jin magic blade, purple flames bursting out. The blade slashed down, tearing the heavens and splitting the earth. However, he was shocked to see a terrifying scene. The spherical beheader that he had used his greatest strength to slash down was actually caught by Impatience's other slender lily-white fingers. Good person, you can use a bit more strength. I can still take it. Impatience revealed a smile, but her hands were merciless. With a twist, she threw Yu Yang's entire body onto the rocks. In a flash, her whole body had slipped into Yu Yang's arms, easily dodging Yu Yang's strongest sword. She nibbled on Yu Yang's ear. "You're so cruel, little sweetheart. How could you bear to hurt such a beautiful baby? Go to hell." Yu Yang pressed his elbows together and attacked Impatience's temples, shooting out innate sword chi from his elbows. "Good girl. I'll reward you with a kiss." Impatience first pecked Yu Yang's lips, then floated up and stuck out her huge breasts, hitting Yu Yang's face. If it was a normal girl, Yu Yang would at most feel a little stuffy. However, when this Impatience's breasts hit Yu Yang's body, that strong elasticity actually sent him flying. He fell like a meteor onto the ice of the pond, smashing into pieces and splashing water. Yu Yang was faster than lightning as he shot out from the pond. He rushed to Princess Qian's side and instantly summoned his silver grimoire. He turned his head and shouted towards Princess Qian and the mysterious beauty who was hugging Luo Hua city mistress. "You guys can leave now. Don't turn into ugly girls in your next life. Otherwise, I will really pretend that I don't recognize you guys. We lost. This damn girl is really Skylaw. I can't beat her. You guys can't beat her either. Go, use light wind teleportation and bring them away. I only have one last attack left. Forget it. If she really is Skylaw, we won't be able to escape." Princess Sisai took out her giant sword. "Who knows what will happen in my next life? Maybe I'll become a man." "Damn, if you become a man, do you think I'll have sex with you?" Yu Yang sweated profusely. "Can't you become a woman?" Princess Sisai's thoughts were very strong. "Since that's the case, you carry fallen flowers. I can't bring her away. I can only go alone." The mysterious beauty passed City Lord Fallen Flowers to Yu Yang. "Hey, you're really going?" Princess Sisai was stunned. "I'll make a move first." The mysterious beauty flew towards Phoenix Fairy Beauty. In midair, lightning flashed in her left hand and ice in her right, bringing with it an earth-shattering hailstorm as she charged towards Phoenix Fairy Beauty. In midair, her voice floated over, "I can freeze her for 10 seconds at the same time. You guys go." With a loud rumble, the entire space was covered in frost. The mysterious beauty was indeed frozen together with the enemy. Princess Sisai's eyes turned red. She raised her giant sword, ready to rush out and fight, but Yu Yang held her back tightly. The ice did not last 10 seconds, only 3 seconds. Impatience floated out of the ice, holding the unconscious mysterious beauty in her hands, and smiled at Yu Yang. "Should I say that you're stupid or smart? Your companion sacrificed herself to create an opportunity, but you gave it up without even trying. Little guy, you're too calm. Aren't you angry now? What if I do this?" Her fingernails that were smeared with immortal juice danced lightly, and then her 5 fingers deeply pierced into the mysterious beauty's heart. When Princess Sisai saw this, she went crazy. She waved her giant sword with the force of a thunderbolt and slashed at Impatience. Impatience stretched out a slender jade palm and lightly shook on Princess Sisai's chest. Princess Sisai shot into the opposite stone wall like a meteor. Countless pieces of silver armor and blood danced in the air. "Be angry, little guy. Let me see how strong you really are. Do you hate me? Then come and kill me." Impatience flew to the front of Yu Yang's barrier, and the jade hand that was stained with the mysterious beauty's blood penetrated through the barrier and slowly reached in. Under Yu Yang's gaze, she pulled out the mithril arrow from City Mistress Fallenflower's chest and pointed it at City Mistress Fallenflower's face. "Aren't you angry? I'm going to kill another little lover of yours. Look at her beautiful face. I'm going to cut her into an ugly monster. I'm going to stab her brains out. Do you want to see her die in front of you? Be angry. Stop me. Or else, I'm going to kill all your relatives." "Kill all my relatives?" Yu Yang's mind was already blank. When he heard these words, Fourth Mother's face flashed across his mind, followed by Yu Bing and the little girl, followed by Little Wen Li and Anan, as well as City Mistress Fallenflowers, Princess Sisai, and the mysterious beauty. "Yes, do you want to see me kill all your relatives? I will twist off their heads, just like how you twisted off Gu Zhui's head. I will twist them off while they are still alive." The impatience had a smile on her face. Her voice was as gentle as a gust of wind, yet also like the voice of a demon from the heavens, endlessly tempting Yu Yang. "Be angry. Don't you hate me in your heart? Pounce on me and kill me. Press me to the ground and bite me to death. Don't you want to dig out my heart?" Ah? Yu Yang had completely gone crazy. The berserk state on his body exploded 10 times, 100 times stronger. He felt that something in his head had shattered, as if it had broken through something. It was like a meteor crashing into a planet, and then completely smashing that planet into smithereens. His entire mental world exploded. His rationality had collapsed. There was only one thought left in his mind, and that was to kill. Kill. He must kill this woman in front of him. No matter what, he must kill her. Yu Yang's consciousness had completely disappeared. Both of his eyes were completely red. At first, a dark golden rune appeared on his forehead. Following that, densely packed runes appeared all over his body, forming a mysterious and profound rune circle. As if it had a life of its own, it wandered around his body. The crazy Yu Yang spat out a mouthful of blood, drenching both his hands. The strange thing was that the blood immediately turned into flames, blazing endlessly. Ancient runes in Nirvana's flame? Impatience's face revealed a look of fear for the first time. This time it's a little too big. Luckily, this brat doesn't know how to use these powers. "I'll kill you." Yu Yang raised both of his hands that were burning with Nirvana's flame, preparing to smash down on Impatience's head. "Not good. Sanner, I'm your fourth mother." "Yes, I'm your fourth mother. I'm your little mother. What are you trying to do? Shuang-Er is still young. As her brother, can't you give in to her a little? If she's naughty, I'll spank her little butt. Do you want to kill Shuang-Er? Quickly put your hands down. Be good, you're tired. Go to sleep. When you wake up, everything will return to normal. Go to sleep obediently." Impatience gently held onto Yu Yang's hands and gently pulled them down. Using a gentle voice that only a mother would have, she tried to hypnotize Yu Yang. In her eyes, ancient runes flashed from time to time and were imprinted into Yu Yang's red eyes. The red in Yu Yang's eyes gradually dissipated and returned to normal. Finally, he slowly closed his eyes and fell into Impatience's embrace. The Nirvana's flame on his hands also gradually disappeared. The runes on his body had completely disappeared. Impatience gently placed Yu Yang on the ground. Looking at her own charred hands, fear appeared on her face again. This brat's Nirvana's flame can actually burn my body to this extent. I'm only a level 1 in 8 now. If I let you cultivate it, how powerful would you be? If she raised her hands, she could easily kill the sleeping Yu Yang. The charred hands pierced between Yu Yang's eyebrows and suddenly stopped. Impatience slowly retracted her hands and blew on the charred hands. The charred hands quickly disappeared, and the smooth and white skin reappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Impatience looked at Yu Yang with a complicated expression, as if finding an excuse for herself. Forget it. He's just a kid who has only trained for a dozen years. He's only a level 1 in 8 when he goes berserk. He's at most a level 6 junior elder. There's nothing to be afraid of against such an opponent. I'll kill him when I'm bored of him. Such a handsome boy. It would be a pity to kill him. Facing the sleeping Yu Yang, Impatience suddenly bent down and kissed Yu Yang's lips with an unusually loud voice. "I can't bear to kill you. This is the first time I've softened my heart. So, give me your first kiss. Ha, it's a pity that the few beauties don't know about this. If not, they would be so jealous of me. La la la. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad woman. Eh? Impatience was preparing to give Yu Yang an even more exciting kiss when her expression suddenly changed. She waved her hand and teleported out of Heaven's Lion's cave. On the cliff at the top of the cave, there was a girl with her back facing them. She was wearing a snow-white, tight-fitting dragon skin suit. Her smooth and round shoulders were bare, and a palm-sized six-winged angel was flying around her. When Impatience saw her, her expression immediately changed. There was a little fear, a little resistance, and a little indignation. In the end, she still called out in a low voice, "Sister." The mysterious girl with bare shoulders snorted lightly. "If I see you in the soaring dragon continent again, I'll kill you, even if you're my sister." I'm curious, why doesn't anyone care about that brat? So you're his introducer. So annoying, you're always like this. Since young, you've always snatched the best things from me, the best beasts, the best treasures. Now, you even want to reserve the best person. Impatience suddenly screamed crazily. Wrong. I gave you the most suitable beasts and the best treasures. It's just that you think that what I've given you is not good enough and is never satisfied. That's why you feel that the whole world is unfair to you. I'll say one last thing. I reserve him because I have the ability to nurture him. He's a little boy who can surpass me, surpass all the warriors in the soaring dragon continent, and even surpass his ancestors. He has endless potential that you will never be able to see through. If your people have any ideas about him again, then the demonic palace can disappear. I'll only say this once. Next time, I'll kill you directly. The mysterious girl with bare shoulders waved her hand and directly cut through space, disappearing in a flash. Impatience stomped her feet frantically. I hate you the most. Why do the best things belong to you? This time, I definitely won't let you. You have the ability to nurture him. Don't tell me that I don't. You don't even talk to me face to face, and you still say that you're my sister. Who wants this kind of sister? Hateful. A gust of wind blew past. Impatience thought that her sister had reappeared. She was so scared that she quickly drew a magical runic circle with her jade-like hands, opened up space, and hurriedly left. The mysterious girl with bare shoulders did not appear. Only after Impatience left, a faint sigh suddenly came from a void. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.